Charger in the parking lot of a Panda Express had slow speech and poor balance and eventually had a blood test that showed a .283 blood alcohol level. The legal limit is .08. The documents also say Bohacek was covered in food. The 2 OWI charges he faces are misdemeanors. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indianapolis City County Councilor Andy Nielsen is calling on Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign, saying he showed a lack of judgment in letting his former chief of staff, Thomas Cook, keep his role despite the allegations and then investigation of sexual harassment against him. Nielsen, a Democrat, was on the committee investigating Hogsett's office for how they handled the situation with Cook. The Indiana Fever needing a point guard, so they went out and got one in Ari McDonald, who was signed by the Fever this week via a hardship exemption. This all to help the backcourt while Caitlin Clark continues to recover from her quad injury. Coach Stephanie White on getting McDonald up to speed.
She's a player. I mean, this is what she does. She's a point guard. She absorbs information quickly. She's been watching the film, and what she's been able to do in practice already has been very good.
The Fever face the Washington Mystics tonight at Gainbridge Fieldhouse at 7, looking to put an end to their losing streak. Traffic on the 5s. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jared? Looking at the south side, stop-and-go traffic on northbound 65, Edgewood Avenue through 465, then slow through the construction past Raymond Street. Westbound 465, slow from I-65 over to US at 31. Traffic sponsored by Fiesel Roofing. A new roof can be expensive, so let it help pay you back. A Fiesel solar roof cuts energy bills and saves money. Go to FieselINC.com to save $2,000 on your solar roof. That's FieselINC.com. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to be.
And now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Mostly sunny today, warm and more humid, a high of 87 tonight, partly cloudy skies and mild, a low of 70. Partly cloudy skies for Wednesday, a chance for afternoon showers and storms as well, the high being 85. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level on the Go and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well,
yeah.
We told you so.
Yeah. Already, huh? 9:07 a.m., Tuesday, June 3rd. Your least favorite part of the program?
Obviously, the big news, I broke it yesterday, that Mike Bohacek, state senator, has pending charges related to multiple counts related to an OWI, which allegedly took place in January. Now, this was during the legislative session. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this because there's so many areas by which you, the listener, you, the taxpayer, should be completely outraged. You should be livid about what took place, not just what this guy did. We'll get into that, but how it was, let's just say it was covered up. There's zero way you're going to convince me. I know, and we'll get into this, I talked to multiple people in the State House who knew about it for months, that you're going to convince me. There's no way you're going to convince me that the leadership in state government didn't know that this took place. And not only was this hid from you, hid from the public, that you had a guy, and again, we'll get into all of this because these are all equally important, and you should be, if you have a friend, if you have a family member, you tell them to turn on the radio right now. If you love those people and you want to educate them on the cesspool that's going on down the street from us and how these people are screwing you and they'll lie to you and deceive you, you tell them to turn the radio on this hour. You tell them to turn the radio on because we're going to give you Education 101 and how these just rotten people down the street from us operate, because this is a huge story. It should be the lead story in every news outlet in the state, not just because some goofy senator behaved in a horribly irresponsible manner. But I thought it'd be first, it would be good now that I can talk about this without fearing that I'm going to reveal sources, whatever, about how this all sort of came together.
Yeah.
Would that be all right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we obviously, all weekend long, I was saying, look, this happened or allegedly happened, and there were just certain things I couldn't say in the moment without fear of revealing the source, because ultimately what I wanted was this guy to fess up. That was what I wanted. Was I knew this happened. I was approached about this by very reliable, what I would say is an A+ source in, I think it was February. And at the time, we were in the middle of the property tax thing.
Right.
And it was like, okay, probably it wasn't even dawning on me that these guys couldn't be prosecuted during session. I said, it'll come out. It's not my deal. Somebody will figure it out, whatever. And we were in the middle of the property tax thing and totally focused on that. And then obviously nothing happened with this guy, and you just sort of put it in the back of your mind and you forget about it. And then late last week, this same person with not just themselves, but with a second source, someone they could publicly identify who was involved in local government in the area in which this allegedly took place, said, dude, you got to get on this because this has been hovering out here for basically 5 months now.
Yeah.
He's past the window by which he's exempted. This is getting ridiculous. And they gave me enough information that I said, okay, I feel comfortable going forward with this, but I want to give this guy the opportunity to do the right thing. See, we keep thinking these lawmakers will do the right thing.
Well, that's what yesterday was all about. You weren't saying his name because you wanted to give him an opportunity to come out and say, yes, I did this.
Absolutely. So we talked about it. I talked about it all weekend on social media. And by the way, his name was out there. I wasn't going to name it, but people like, I think the Indie Reporter account were naming him, et cetera. But we hold ourselves here to a very high standard. When we make allegations, you take them to the bank, right? That's why we, like with Tiptoe Diego, we've said, don't know whether it's actually corrupt, what took place in India. The average person looks at it and says that's highly unethical red flag behavior because we hold ourselves to very high standards here. So we came on yesterday, said I've sent multiple emails to this guy, Bohachik's email account. I've also followed up with a phone call and left a voicemail. And then you and I, when we got off the air yesterday, went over to the State House and dropped an in-person letter off saying the same things that I said on the voicemail and in the email. And said, okay, we're going to give him time to respond to this. And then I got mad because at about 2 o'clock, I got an email from the Deputy Communications Director for the Senate. Okay? So this is not just some person who works for Bohachik. This is someone who works for the Senate. And it was very clear what I was asking in the response. It was very cut and dry. And I'm going to read you the response from this person, okay? And by the way, this is a public email. It came from a state email address. It's a public record. If you want to pull it right now, you could pull it. Hi, Rob. A question like this falls into the personal matter category, which I don't handle as a Senate staffer, but I will make him aware you reached out. And I sat there in my house when I read this email and I said, you mother, I said, now I'm mad.
Right.
Now you have taken me from someone who wanted to let you do the right thing to save yourself some level of decency and embarrassment. And it's not like she didn't know or didn't go to someone and wasn't, told what to say, right? They knew we were coming. They knew we'd sent the emails. They all listened to the show. And I give you the opportunity to save face and come out to the public and fess up, and this is the response I get. And I said, all right, now crap's on.
Well, of course, it's considered a personal matter, but that also was an admission that it happened.
So then, because part of the problem was this, you had to put all of these puzzle pieces together because he was not the person who was overseeing the case, which is Porter County, was not the county in which the alleged offense occurred. So it was very hard to figure out who to actually contact and who to talk to and who to ask for to get the information. And by the way, at that point, it was still not public.
Correct.
So it was entailing a lot of work to do this. But Casey, you know me with the OCD and the neurotic behavior, and it was like, now you made me mad. I'm the last guy you should want to make me. Yeah.
Not going to let it go.
So I started digging, and within 2 hours, I was on the phone with the Porter County prosecutor, who basically, and this guy was super nice and he was super transparent. He just got the case, is my understanding, by the way. Like, this has been sealed in LaPorte County, and he just got the case. And he was like, almost like, remember in The Wizard of Oz where when they let him in, they go, well, why didn't you say so? That's a horse of a different color. This guy was kind of like, I can't believe people didn't call me or ask until
Sooner.
you. It was like, well, it was a scavenger hunt to find you. And he gave all the information about the allegations against Bohachik, that he allegedly he refused the breathalyzer, which we'll get into here in a second.
Right.
And by the way, look, there's no way we could do this in one segment. That's why we're spending multiple segments on it, because I wanted to give everybody the background on how since we broke the story, how I was able to obtain the information. And then next segment, we'll get into why you should be outraged about this. So, and so at that point, we posted it. Obviously, it was ironclad, and then other news outlets began to run with the information. And the details of this behavior from this guy is pathetic.
Yeah, and that's the part that's really going to make you angry. So why don't we take a break, and then we'll talk about actually what happened on January 24th during session with a Indiana state senator. Does that work?
That's great.
All right. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
He set people on fire. Terror attack in Boulder, Colorado.
Mohammed Solomon setting fire to pro-Israel demonstrators.
Hear the news.
Indiana Pacers NBA Finals.
Worked our tails off as a group, and we just kept pushing it.
Game 1 Thursday night at 8:30.
As events happen.
Car in a tow truck collided.
Indy's northwest side.
We'll happen to be there.
Expect Canadian wildfire smoke
through Monday and start to diminish.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Grit, hard work, training, professionalism, and being ready at a moment's notice. That's what we stand for at Fire Dogs Junk Removal, because we were founded by firefighters. When it's time to clear out clutter, big or small, we've got you covered. From old furniture to hot tubs and even entire decks, our team handles it all. Call Fire Dogs Junk Removal today at 1-800-211-DOG or book online at firedogs.com. Fire Dogs Junk Removal, your local team ready to answer the call.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Guy Relford here. Time again for the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show this coming weekend at the State Fairgrounds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's never been a more important time to exercise our rights as true Americans. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See the best in sporting, hunting, and personal protection gear, plus great displays of Americana. Come see us this weekend at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show, Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 9 to 4. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See you there.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
So, before we get into why you should be outraged about this Mike Bohachik arrest, or, well,
detainment and pending charges.
Detainment and pending charges, yes. Because we got to clarify. We'll clarify all of that in the next segment. Of course, Mike Bohachik is a state senator, Northern Indiana, who...
first elected in 2016.
Came in January during the legislative session, was pulled over... and then is facing charges. And again, we'll get to all that in a second about how just screwed up our whole judicial system is and how rigged it is. And we'll get to that in these lawmakers rigged the system in their favor in a second. But I wanted to lay out the details of what this guy is accused of doing because the behavior is so egregious. And one of the things that pisses me off, Casey, to no end, is that because of the way these guys rigged the system, he has avoided until now accountability and public shaming. And it'd be one thing to say I can't be arrested until after session. If he'd have come out and said, look, man, this happened and I throw myself on the mercy of the court and I'm outing myself here and I did this and I've got to seek help and blah, blah, blah. That's one thing. But the fact that he hid this, the leadership in the government hid this, and we had to do all this work to get you transferred. What if we didn't exist? You still wouldn't know about this today. This moved forward yesterday because of the work we did over the weekend, and that's gross. And so this guy deserves to be publicly shamed, not only for the behavior itself, which is abhorrent for somebody in his position that can lord over people in the manner in which he can, but also for those people down the street to let them know we're sending a message going forward. And I told you people, when you screwed the taxpayers of this state, I said, new ball game, people. All the strings removed. We are on a kamikaze mission on this radio program, which is seek, kill, destroy on all you people, because that's what you're doing to the taxpayers. So let's talk about the details of Mike Bohachik being pulled over for OWI.
Okay, it happened on January 24th, 2025. That was a Friday, so they were not in session. And this happened at 3:30 in the afternoon. So somebody was doing a little day drinking.
And okay, and so he allegedly he stumbles into a Panda Express, and he is clearly inebriated in the afternoon to a ridiculous. And look, ain't no judgment of people who've had a little too much to drink. Ski, raise your hand if you've done that in your life. Rob Kendall, Landon's raising his hand, Casey raising their hand, Carl's raising his hand, but. We're not a state lawmaker. We're not driving.
Correct.
And then we didn't go cover it up. There's so many tentacles to this. So this guy is driving an automobile, stumbles into this Panda Express. He's clearly messed up.
Yeah, the witness saw him drinking from an open container and then stumbling out of his vehicle at the Panda Express.
He then gets back in the automobile and leaves. And so I guess at that point, the people are like, dude, this guy, he has no business driving an automobile. They call the cops.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he was later pulled over on US 20 near Swan Lake Cemetery.
Okay, so then when he's pulled over, he's allegedly attempting to eat his food and drink from his drink. Not identified whether that's alcohol or not. I assume that's whatever drink he got at the Panda Express, perhaps. While the officer is trying to engage in conversation with him, they have to tell him to stop eating the food and drinking the drink. He's allegedly covered in food, right?
Well, this is according to the affidavit for probable cause. It says his speech was quiet and slow. His eyes were red, watery, bloodshot. Balance was poor, and he was covered in food. And the driver admitted to consuming his prescription medication, tramadol, as prescribed prior to driving.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, because you had to take that when you had your shoulder issue, right?
Yeah, I had a shoulder fenestration like 3 weeks ago, and they didn't want me to take a NSAID, an anti-inflammatory, because that's part of the process. It needs to inflame to, to heal.
It's an opioid, right?
It's an opioid, so I was prescribed that. Didn't like taking it, took it for 2 days, and just kind of lived through the pain. But there's a label on there that clearly says, don't drink alcohol while you're on this, and it will cause tiredness, fatigue.
Yeah. They tell you don't operate a vehicle.
Right.
Yeah. I had to take, they wanted me to take those when I had the We Grow Hair Indie procedure. And I took one, and I said,
no thanks.
And I said, I'll deal with the pain for the next week.
Right.
Because, that stuff is, anybody who's ever had to take the opioids under a doctor's prescription, et cetera, knows how strong those are, much less this guy then decides he's going to drink and he's going to operate a vehicle, refuses the breathalyzer or the test on the scene. And then it comes out that his blood alcohol content, when they do the forced test, is 0.283.
Yeah, so he was taken to the hospital for that blood test, which is 3 times Indiana's legal limit.
They asked Matt Bear, and obviously Matt Bear and Ryan Hedrick are two great people to comment on this because they've been very open and honest. They've taken accountability for their issues that they've had with drugs and alcohol. Tony asked Matt the condition you should be in if you're blowing a 0.283, and it was, Matt said that the guy, it's amazing he wasn't dead. I mean, and
or anyone else.
Well, right. That's the big thing. So why don't we take another break? That's the details that this guy, and so then at some point they recognize, or he claims, I'm a state senator, and they got to let him go because of this state law. It's actually in the Constitution as well, that prohibits lawmakers from being arrested during the legislative session, not only during the legislative session.
2 weeks before, 2 weeks after.
Yeah, 15 days each way. So when we come back, that's the details, because we want to get that out there, because this guy avoided the public shaming, which is the prevention. Because as Jim Lucas proved, not only can you just get back in your seat if you drive under the influence, in the case of Lucas, Jim Lucas drove drunk, blew through a barricade, fled the scene, tried to hide his car.
That happened back in 23.
Fibbed to the cops, all that stuff. Not only can you just go back to your job, but they'll give you money like they did Lucas to get him reelected. The only defense we have as a society against these people is the public shaming, and he has avoided that. So we need you to know the details of this thing so that now when we talk about the next segment, you'll be even more pissed off about how this guy was able to avoid any sense of scrutiny for the past basically 5 months.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Tired of using your Indy Summer to paint year after year? Then do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And right now, you can have that protection for 10% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Wheat Grow Hair Indy. Summer is right around the corner. The weather is getting warm. You're going to be outside a whole bunch, hopefully, this year. And when you're outside, wouldn't you like to do so? Be out in public with your confidence back. You can get that confidence back by making a trip to Wheat Grow Hair Indy. That's what I did 4.5 years ago. And every time I look in the mirror, so glad I did. Now, here is how the whole Wheat Grow Hair Indy thing works. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, top notch. Take a look at what's going on. Give you some suggestions on how to get your hair back. And then you'll take it from there. In the meantime, if you'd like to see some other folks who made the choice to get their confidence back by heading over to We Grow Hair Indy, check out WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call today, 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More on the attack in Boulder. Got plenty of sunshine. It's 70 in downtown Indy. Your high today, 86. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30. New details emerging about the suspect charged for attacking a Boulder, Colorado event in support of Israeli hostages.
The suspect, Mohammed Solomon, made his first court appearance in Boulder late yesterday, and the judge yesterday also told him that he is to have absolutely no contact with the victims from Sunday's attack, some of whom still remain in the hospital this morning. Solomon is facing 16 counts of attempted murder, plus additional charges for using an incendiary device and attempted use of an incendiary device. He is also looking at a federal hate crime charge. The acting U.S. attorney says more charges could be added and that Solomon had been working on the attack for a long time.
Fox's Alicia Acuna reporting from Boulder. Solomon brought a total of 20 Molotov cocktails to the event. At least a dozen people were left injured. The search continues for a former police officer convicted of murder and rape who escaped an Arkansas prison. Grant Hardin was serving 30 years for murder, which he pleaded guilty to in 2017. When he was booked into state prison for the murder sentence, his DNA was linked to a cold case rape from 1997, which he also pleaded guilty to, earning another 50-year sentence. And Senate Republicans are returning from recess Monday and began negotiating over the budget bill the House recently passed in a 215 to 214 vote. Some Senate Republicans are concerned the bill includes too many cuts to Medicaid and other services, while others want more spending cuts. Senate Majority Leader John Toon says he believes the bill can be approved by the 4th of July. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow was down 65 points, 42,305. The S&P 500 also in the red, just slightly, down 5 points to 5,935. And the NASDAQ is up 11 points to 21,491. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me. It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homework
taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Meijer stores.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, so we told you the horrific details of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
We told you all the effort we went to prove what happened, to get it out in the public. And now we're going to talk about why you should absolutely be outraged about what took place.
Okay, so this is all in relation to Indiana Senator Mike Bohachik, who was detained and has pending charges related to an OWI months after the incident took place.
Yes, so this took place in January. I know people in the State House knew about it because I was contacted about it in February. And so this guy who allegedly had a blood alcohol content of 0.283, that's more than 3 times the legal limit in this state. He should have been in a hospital somewhere, much less operating a motor vehicle. He's using, an opioid of some sort, allegedly. He's got food strung all over himself. He can't follow commands. He's speeding. This guy is rightfully pulled over, and then he pulls the "you can't do anything to me, I'm a state senator" card.
Right.
Because these dirtbags down the street from us have not only exempted themselves during the session from any form of prosecution, but they have also exempted themselves 15 days on either side of the session. And their excuse for this is, well, somebody could get arrested. They could arrest their political opponents, Casey, if we don't exempt ourselves from prosecution. So we're led to believe that Rod Bray and Todd Houston, what is this? The Soviet Union are going to be out there. They're such scumbags that they're going to be out arresting their opponents. And by the way, doesn't sound like in this case there's any doubt the guy did it. Seems like the evidence is pretty strong.
Yeah. So if a citizen can be cuffed for a blood alcohol content level that he had, why is the senator allowed to go back to work on Monday like nothing happened? Because here's the thing. This happened at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. And then after he refused the breathalyzer and then was taken to the hospital, he was back taking votes in the Senate chamber the following Monday. Do you think that he had crystal clear vision on what he was voting on?
Can we read the just bullcrap quote from Rod Bray?
From Rod Bray?
So we are led to believe. Just read the quote, and I mean, this is disgusting. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is from the Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray. He said, "I was extremely disappointed to hear this news, and I expressed my disappointment to Senator Bohachik. Our Senate rules make clear members are to be held to high standards, and this does not meet that standard."
Okay, stop. So first of all, we're led to believe, based on that quote, a reasonable person would assume that Rod Bray, the pro tem of the Senate, just learned about this?
Well, he said, "I was extremely disappointed to hear this news." When did he hear it?
Well, okay, so that's the other side of it. So either you just learned about it, or you knew about it months ago,
and putting it out,
and you covered it up. So you weren't all that disappointed to hear about it. You weren't surprised to hear about it. What were the first 3 sentences again? So that's the first part. What are the other 2?
You want me to finish it?
No. Just to read the first.
He says, "I was extremely disappointed to hear this news, and I expressed my disappointment to Senator Bohachik."
Okay, pause. Okay, so if you just learned about it, then that's ridiculous, which nobody believes. But apparently you weren't that disappointed because you didn't let the public know. Just because this guy can't be arrested or charged during session, Mr. Bray, you could have certainly let the public know. You could have told the public or mandated that he tell the public, hey, I did this, and I realize I won't face the consequences until after session, but I am responsible for this. I'm going to check myself in and get help. I'm apologize, whatever. He didn't do any of that.
No.
So he must not be that disappointed. What's the third thing?
He says, here in Indiana, nobody is above the law. I will be monitoring this case as it goes forward, and our legal system doesn't work.
Okay,
does
but
its work.
but that doesn't fly either, because look at what happened with Jim Lucas.
Well, he goes on to say, after which I will consider any next steps.
There were no steps with Lucas.
Right.
None.
Based on their track record, the next steps are to give him more money to run again.
Right, that's correct. You people down the street don't take this serious at all. We've already seen how you treat DUI. Not only do you let the guy stay there and not condemn him, you give him money. Okay, but this is why this is important. Casey, it is 9:38 on a, what is today?
Tuesday.
June the 3rd, right?
Tuesday, June 3rd.
June the 3rd at 9:38 in the morning. And what is my least favorite part of every show?
Well, it's when you're right.
Yes. And I have told you people, you are fabulous, wonderful listeners for years, that State House exists on leverage and control. The people in charge, the party doesn't matter. It's about leverage and control. They find what your weakness is, and they exploit it so that you will do their bidding. That's why they're okay with guys like Jim Lucas being there, because Jim Lucas needs the position. And so they said, you will be a good boy, Jim, and we're going to let you stay. And if you look at Jim Lucas before the DUI, and you look at Jim Lucas after the DUI, totally different guy. So in the case of this Bohacik, think about the leverage they had on him this session, where, boy, that'd be a shame if the news about your little drinky problem got out. You had a guy voting for 4 months, three months, who was totally compromised by the leadership in state government. Do you think when push came to shove, like on something like property taxes, he was going to do what was best for you? Or do you think he was going to do what he was told? Because, boy, Mike, that sure would be a shame if a local news agency like the Indy Star got your info about your DUI. These guys do this stuff all the time where they leverage. It's all they do over there. And you had a guy, in the case of Mike Bohacik, who was completely compromised, hiding in the shadows, casting votes on public policy that affects 7 million people. That is the story. That is the story. The fact that these people have exempted themselves from the law, and then a totally compromised person who nobody even knew about his compromise. At least with Lucas, it was out in the public because it wasn't during the session. At least with Lucas, everybody knew about it from the beginning, and there was a mugshot and the body cam video and everything else. This guy was able to hide in the shadows for months.
It's a backdoor for these lawmakers. They're dodging accountability. And not just the vote. Not only did he break the law, he's betraying public trust because he was actively endangering others. It was deliberate, it was selfish, and it was a gamble on other people's lives.
And they denied it. They denied it until the end. I mean, they knew I had it. And even yesterday, when I tried to give this guy the chance to do the right thing to save him the embarrassment of me breaking the story, which there's nothing those people down the street from us hate more than knowing Rob Kendall broke the story on how awful, once again, we're throwing it right in front of you, the listener, of how awful these people are and how they operate. We gave him every chance, because Casey will back me up on this. I am a pretty decent human at my core.
It's true.
And I recognize this guy clearly has an issue. At his age, and by the way, I have now heard multiple reports that this may not be the first time this guy in a public setting has shown signs of having trouble with various substances. And I had those when I was asking those questions yesterday. But because as someone who is a decent person, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to do the right thing, they wouldn't address it until the end. They knew we had the info. They had to know other people were going to have the info. And when given the opportunity to get ahead of the story and own it and man up, they still deflected and they ran from the truth. These are your lawmakers. Look, Braun wasn't committing a crime. He didn't run afoul of the law, but is it really any different, the lack of honesty, any really different than the guy who rolled up his sleeves and said, fight, I'll fight for you? It's the same stuff. You can't trust any of these people. If they will, to the very end, cover up the most obvious, easily provable thing, which is how this guy behaved. They knew there's a police report. They know that it had gone to a special prosecutor. They know they're just waiting on a judge. This is part of why it didn't get public yet, is they couldn't get a judge, because the judges in his home county where it would be tried keep recusing themselves. It's going to have to go to a neighboring county.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, until the very end, they wouldn't come straight with the public.
Right. No, it wasn't until you meddling kids got involved.
And this is why, and we're going to talk to Micah next hour. By the way, Micah's not ducking us. I just think we're going to have to go a little long with Micah, because we're going to talk about this. We got to talk about the Tiptoe Diego stuff. We want to give him plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I am so infuriated with these people, but also specifically people like Micah, because he has the platform to be able to call this out. If he has a press conference, people cover it. If he speaks, people listen. He's in the building. And this is why, because this corruption, this underhanded, deceitful bullcrap is screwing all of us.
I want to know if Micah was aware of it, because he is the president of the Senate.
How could he not be, Casey?
Well, because this guy showed back up to work on Monday.
Right, but that
was in the chamber.
But like we talked about yesterday, there's only one of two scenarios that are going on here by Micah. Either Micah knew and didn't tell anybody, which I can't imagine. Look, Micah and I are not. Micah and I, everybody knows we're not seeing eye to eye right now. But Micah, at his core, I think is a very good and decent person. I cannot imagine he would have this information and not give it to the public. Which means the only other option is you have leadership in the state government, which is going around and being deceitful and deceptive to a high-ranking government official.
You know that at least this senator was. He knew what he did on Friday afternoon. And he showed back up to work on Monday. And what? Didn't tell anybody?
Right, but then
told some people,
but then
said, keep this quiet.
But Casey, then it comes back to Micah. He should be outraged himself that they deliberately withheld this from him. He should be calling a press conference this afternoon and screaming about this and, screaming about the need for changes. These are the things he ran on. This is why I'm so frustrated, because he's in the position because he promised to do that, and we don't hear that from him.
And I think the final question is, even Rod Bray says, our Senate rules make clear members are held to a higher standard, and this does not meet the standard. So what's going to happen next? This guy can't be trusted with the car. How can he be trusted to vote on your behalf?
One other thing, and this is a very, very important thing that needs to be answered. In the state of Indiana, if you refuse a field sobriety test, it's an automatic revocation of your license, is my understanding of the law. This guy refused the test, or the breathalyzer, the on-site test. People know what I'm saying. He refused that test. They had to get the blood alcohol content from him by force. Has this guy been driving for the past 4.5 months? Because if you or I did this, outski, dunzo, see ya, right? You failed that you declined the test, you're out of here. Has this guy, because of the immunity, has he been able to, despite the horrendous behavior behind the wheel, been able to operate an automobile? That's a question that's not been answered yet.
With a legislator's license plate on it.
That's right. Now, I don't think they get a car, but he does have the special plate, which obviously gets him in the front row at many places, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, we'll get into this with Micah next hour. Can we talk about Braun and IU when we come back?
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Join us this Thursday from Caesars Sportsbook at Horseshoe Casino in Shelbyville. But this afternoon, we're talking crime, we're talking punishment, we're talking legal stuff. We'll talk at 3.
As the heat and humidity picks up, you might start spending more time cooling off indoors. You'll take a look around and see some easy DIY projects like touching up painted walls or cleaning your windows. But what about that dip in your floor? If you start to notice sagging or bouncy floors, musty smells, or water or mold in your crawl space, you need to address the problem before it's too late. The experts from Indiana Foundation Service can help. It may seem overwhelming to you, but rest assured, they are experts in taking care of your problem. Indiana Foundation Service's certified field inspectors can come out and explain what's happening to your floors, identify your permanent crawl space solution, and provide you with a no-pressure quote. If you're ready to fix your sagging or bouncy floors, visit IndianaFoundation.com for your free inspection now. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers going on now. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Pat Sullivan here with exciting news from my friends at Hope Plumbing, now known as Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hope now offers plumbing, heating, and air conditioning services, bringing total comfort to your home. No more dealing with multiple home service memberships. For only $8 a month, Hope is now your one-stop for safety and maintenance inspections and so much more. Make sure you're prepared for those Indiana summer heat waves with an AC tune-up by calling Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today at 641-HOPE.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
More tariffs later, tornadoes possible.
WIBC.com gives you more than just headlines. It's context, updates, and insight. Whether you're at work, on the move, or catching up late, the latest is already there. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC.com.
Okay, so let me make sure I've got this correct.
What's that, Rob?
Braun's mad about the judgment and the decisions of people running IU, so he replaces them with people or reappoints people who have a track record of horrible judgment. Did I get that clear? Am I understanding this properly?
Well, he did remove 3 elected alumni trustees, and he appointed Sage Steele, James Bopp Jr., and Brian Eagle.
Okay, so and then reappointed.
Right?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about 2 of those people.
Okay,
I don't know much about the other 2. Sage Steele works for ESPN. First of all, so in the wee hours of the General Assembly this year, despite no public hearing, no comment, no testimony, no analysis, they just decided, the General Assembly, at the behest of who we still don't know, again, totally untransparent, that they were going to strip IU's ability to the alumni's ability to vote on trustees.
Yeah, and language that granted Braun full control was added quietly into a must-pass bill. And that would happen in the final hours of the session, by the way.
We don't know why. We don't know nothing. It may have been a great idea, although I wouldn't want Braun putting anyone in charge of anything.
It's a contradiction, by the way, because just a month earlier, Braun said that he had no plans to remove elected members early.
Braun lied?
He changed his mind.
Braun didn't tell the truth? Braun wimped out? What do you know?
No.
I've never experienced
You're
anything like
silly.
that. So two of the people that he put in charge, I love this. One is Jim Bopp Jr., who is a very famous, well-known attorney. And the most recent time that I recall Jim Bopp being in the news was he sent out some dire memo that basically asserting that if Micah won the convention,
Braun was going to lose.
Yeah, and I think Micah won the convention. This wasn't like, man, we should be concerned about. This was like a 911, all hands on deck, end of the world, sky is falling memo. And then I think Braun won.
He did.
I think he won pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't think Micah cost Braun the election.
No.
Okay, so totally wrong about that. His reward for being horribly wrong was, let's put you in charge of a bunch of college kids. Then Quinn Buckner, fabulous basketball player, part of the IU national championship team in 76, revered Hoosier. But his most recent trust me thing was, we got to hire Mike Woodson to be the basketball coach. That's the key to the ills that are ailing IU basketball. Mike Woodson. How'd that turn out, Case? His reward, back on the board of trustees. So these people we took off, they're horrible. They're causing all the problems. Yeah, you reappointed one of the guys who's currently on the board, whose most recent look at me decision was Mike Woodson. And the other guy, the new guy, was, if Micah Beckwith wins, you're going to lose the campaign. And we're supposed to believe IU's going to get better. We're going to be better served.
Yeah, many people are saying that the president of IU is going to go down as one of the worst in like 100 years.
Well, IU's a dumpster fire. The whole thing's a dumpster fire. The institution, and I can say this, I got an IU degree on the wall. I paid to say these words, Casey. I've bought my ability to dump all over IU. The whole institution is a dumpster fire. Simply putting cronies on boards, and Sage Steele seems like a wonderful woman. She worked for ESPN. I think she's very conservative. But like Quinn Buckner, he's been there. If something's wrong with the system,
reappointed through 26.
You can't say, well, the system is totally screwed up, and then appoint the
and give it back to the same person.
And again, Jim Bopp.
Well, he's a political ally of Braun.
These people, yes.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
When
they're in power, they put their friends in positions.
They should have put Dan Dockich on the board. That's who they should have put on. You want to shake things up at IU, they should have put Dockich in charge over there.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is going to join us next.
We're going to talk about Bohacek. We're going to talk about Tiptoe Diego. This should, I think this will get a little animated. This will be fun.
It's 93 WIBC.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text PACK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PACK to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
You probably have a dream retirement in mind, but do you know how to get there? The difference between dreaming and living your ideal retirement comes down to having the right plan. And that's where Howard Bailey Financial can help. At Howard Bailey Financial, we've created a free retirement toolkit to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Text DREAM to 888-262-1104 to download your free retirement toolkit that includes a retirement checklist, Social Security decisions guide, estate planning guide, and more. We want your dream retirement to be your reality. And it starts by texting DREAM to 888-262-1104. Let us help you take the next step toward the retirement of your dreams. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, police now investigating another deadly shooting in Indy. Who's calling on the mayor to resign from the city-county council? When and where a state senator was busted for drunk driving this year. And the Fever, they're playing tonight at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, currently on a 3-game losing streak, trying to put that to bed. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He's put a lot of countries on the clock. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. To work out trade deals to avoid big tariffs on their imports.
Countries in talks with the U.S. for a new trade deal have until tomorrow to make their offers, according to letters sent to several nations currently in negotiations with the Trump administration. An official with the U.S. Trade Representative's office says productive negotiations with key partners continue at a rapid pace. Reciprocal tariffs announced by President Trump in April are on hold until July 9th to allow for trade talks.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Fox's Peter Doocy is also there, focused on the simmering controversy over former President Biden's mental fitness during his time in office. Amid a Reuters report, the Trump Justice Department is now investigating.
The Hunter Biden pardon may have been more than just a broken promise not to pardon him. It might have been fraudulent, according to officials here who want to know if President Biden was cognitively impaired to the point that he could not legitimately execute the duties of his office, including pardons for his son, his sister Valerie, his brother Frank, his brother James, and his wife Sarah.
The Senate is now considering the House-passed budget plan President Trump calls one big beautiful bill to fund his agenda, from increased border security to extending the 2017 tax cuts. But some of his fellow Republicans are skeptics.
The biggest objection I have to the bill is adding $5 trillion to the debt ceiling. I'm actually very supportive of the tax cuts.
Senator Rand Paul just told Fox Business he wants less spending. The president reacted on Truth Social that the bill's a big winner and that Paul never has constructive ideas and loves voting no on everything. 2 of the 12 people injured in the Boulder, Colorado terror attack remain in a hospital. Man accused, Mohammed Solomon, told police he'd do it again and planned it for a year.
Officials say he told police he waited until after his daughter's graduation to conduct this attack and left a cell phone at his home for his family that contained messages for them.
Alicia Cunha, America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More shooting deaths in Indy. Sunny skies, 73 in downtown Indianapolis this hour. The high today will reach 87. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Gunshots fired inside an Indianapolis apartment early Tuesday. Ryan Hedrick reports what police found and what may have triggered the violence.
IMPD Sergeant William Young says the call started coming in from the historic Dorchester apartments around 4 a.m.
And they discovered inside of an apartment an adult female and what we believe to be an adult male who both sustained injuries consistent with gunshot wounds.
And Young says the man was taken to the hospital.
And the adult female was unfortunately pronounced deceased here at the scene.
And he says this most likely started as a domestic situation.
And so our chaplain's office, they've arrived, as well as our victims assistance unit, they've arrived.
Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A Democrat on the Indianapolis City County Council is calling on Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign. Andy Nielsen believes Hogsett showed a lack of judgment in letting his former chief of staff, Thomas Cook, stay in that role for multiple weeks while he was being investigated for sexual harassment. Nielsen was on the committee investigating Hogsett's office for how they treated the situation involving Cook. A member of the Indiana General Assembly is facing OWI charges. State Senator Michael Beckwith was arrested back in January. According to court documents, he was pulled over for speeding and then registered a .283 blood alcohol level. A court date has not been set yet. Indiana Governor Mike Braun making some appointments to the IU Board of Trustees. Braun announced Monday his appointees include Sage Steele, James Bopp Jr., Brian Eagle, and Quinn Buckner, all of whom are Indiana University alumni. The Indiana Fever currently at 2-4 to start this WNBA season. Shooting guard Kelsey Mitchell says the team needs to get back to doing things simple in order to get on track.
And I think, too, I've been kind of like overthinking the process a bit and just making, the right play. And I think the right play is always the simple one. So to her point, I think we have to just kind of hone in on keeping it simple. But I do think that you got to get the reps to keep doing it. So here's to practice.
The Fever added point guard Ari McDonald to the roster this week via a hardship exemption. They will face the Washington Mystics tonight from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Harv, we need to get down. Hey, nip it, you dumb bunny. I'm talking about goose down for my jacket. I wish we could see some geese out here. Well, why? Because we need to get back in time to the state's largest gun show this weekend. Harv, I gotta get a goose before we go. That's not what I mean, you perverted furball. Well, the reason we haven't gotten any geese is because all this old hunting gear. As soon as we get back, we're going to the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show out at the fairgrounds. We're getting new everything. Camo, guns, knives, ammo, survival gear, even a GPS. What's that, Harv? Are there any deer gear dealers at the show that will give you advice? Well, sure. What? No, it's not called Dear Abby, you idiot. Look here comes some now. Well, what do you know? Harv got 1 out of 5. I guess you could say his flight plan was canceled by air traffic control.
Celebrity voice, imaginary character impersonated. The Indy 1500 Gun, Knife, and Outdoor Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the State Fairgrounds.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, there's some big goings on in the Senate.
I've heard something about this. One senator specifically.
Yes. All right, so let's get to the bottom of how this stuff happens, and nobody knows about it for 5 months. Of course, we're talking about this big news that came out yesterday. We talked about it to start the program today. Mike Beckwith, state senator, accused of multiple counts related to an OWI that took place in January. President of the Senate is Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, joins us now. Beckwith, how is this possible that a guy can get an OWI in January, and whether he can actually be prosecuted or not until the session's over, that nobody knows about it for 5 months?
It's a great question. I mean, I was just hearing about it with you guys. I mean, when you guys reported on it yesterday, that's the first I've heard on his story, and I think it does beg the question: what's going on? Why is it that this has not come out? I mean, I think there needs to be transparency. And I think this goes back to what I've said for many years: is that when you live in a supermajority state, it's easy to cover up things and not hold people accountable. And I think that's the problem. I think we just we've gotten lazy as Republicans. And I've said this on the campaign trail. I still believe it today, even being a part of the quote unquote, in crowd now, if you want to label me that way. I think we have a lot of problems because there's not accountability. When I've been doing my town halls, I've been telling the Democrats coming out, I said, hey, I want you to do better in elections. Get rid of this woke nonsense stuff like boys can play in girls sports and start talking about kitchen table issues. You'll start winning elections and you'll start holding Republicans accountable, which will make Republicans better, which will benefit the entire state. And I think that's how we've gotten into situations like what you just referenced.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is on the line with us. Now, let's talk about the actual incident, because this happened at 3:30 on a Friday, January 24th. It was a Friday. You weren't in session. But then Bohasic was back taking votes in the Senate chamber the following Monday. So he was pulled over, he was detained, and then he was back voting on Monday. Now, you're the president of the Senate. Are you aware of their behavior? Like, did anything strike you odd about him on that Monday?
No, I mean, I didn't see anything that would have warranted, some aspect of a question. I mean, it was just normal business as usual. Things seemed fairly even keel when it came to just the senators around that time. If I don't remember the exact day, but nothing stood out to me. And again, I think I don't know who knew what. I don't know when they knew it. I'm telling you what I've heard is what you guys reported on yesterday, and that's the first I've heard of it. And I've interacted with Senator Bohasic. He seems like a genuine guy. I mean, I would say first and foremost, listen, I want to see him get healthy. If he's struggling with things, that needs to be, top of mind. But at the same time, we got work to do, and you shouldn't be coming down to the institution of the prestigious Senate or just this sacred institution that we have if you're not able to live to above reproach. And I think that's why I've preached to Republicans far and wide. You've got to live a life above reproach, because you will not be given the benefit of the doubt. The Democrats will get it all day long. They can do all this and nobody's going to bat an eye. They don't preach a moral standard that we preach. We've got to live up to that. We've got to live above reproach. And I think that's the concern that I have.
Should we repeal this? I mean, not only is it a law, they put it in the Constitution that these guys basically get 3, 4, 5 months of a free pass. Should lawmakers be allowed to be exempt essentially from the law for 3, 4, 5 months during session?
Yeah, I think it's a very noble conversation to start having, Rob. That law was put in place because sheriffs and local law enforcement, they were arresting or potentially could have arrested and detained a senator or rep as they're on their way down to the state house to vote. That's what that was put in. It's kind of antiquated. It's probably a little outdated. I don't think our law enforcement in Indiana would in any way, shape, or form violate that type of public trust, at least on a massive scale to where we have to have a constitutional amendment or a law that says you can't arrest a member in session. And I think it would just say, hey, senators, representatives, just make sure you're living like everyone else is required to live within the law, live within the means. I think that's a very good conversation to start having, and I would be all for something like that, because that law was for a time, and we've got social media now. We've got quick press access. If a law enforcement officer was really abusing his or her power and trying to keep a state senator or state rep from going and voting, that would be I think that would be big time news, and I think we could hold them accountable very quickly, unlike what 100 years ago would have been.
Okay, so I knew about this in February. Couldn't prove it until some things happened very recently. So by the standards we're required to go by, there's no way Rod Bray didn't know about this in February too, right? I mean, there's no way the pro tem of the Senate has a guy get a DUI. It also goes to a special prosecutor. You've now got multiple counties involved. And Rod Bray does the me so stupid routine yesterday. There's no way he didn't know, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine, being the leader of the caucus, the first thing Senator Bohasic would have done is called the leadership and said, hey, just so you know, this is coming. I would be ticked if I was Rod Bray and I didn't know about this until just a couple days ago. I would be furious that a member of my caucus did not give us a heads up and let us know. I mean, again, transparency is the best solution in situations like this. Just come out and own it. Say, hey, I made a mistake. It was inappropriate. I'll walk out the system of justice as expected, and I'll take whatever lumps come my way. That's what I would have expected if I was the leader of the Senate. I hope if he didn't know, I mean, I hope there's serious conversations with his caucus saying, how the heck did I not know about this? And this needs to change.
So, Micah, Bohachik admitted to consuming prescription medication Tramadol before he drove. I have recently been prescribed that same medication after a shoulder fenestration, and it's an opioid, but it clearly says do not drink and may cause tiredness on the label. So I'm curious, this guy can't be trusted with medication. He can't be trusted behind the wheel of a car. Should he be trusted with our state? What should the repercussions be for him?
Well, I think ultimately the voters decide that, right? He answers to the voters. He needs to make sure that he can, sell his case. And if I was a voter in that district, I'd be asking that same question. Casey, that's a good question. Hey, if you're representing us and you're doing that sacred task of going down and creating law on our behalf, like, we need to know that you're an upstanding citizen. The same standard is true in the church world. I mean, I'm from the church world, the background, and Paul even tells us in Scripture it is important that you live above reproach, especially for those who are in ministry or leadership positions, because you have a higher standard of righteousness that you need to adhere to because of the arrows that people will shoot at you. And anytime I see this in the church world where pastors do something stupid, like, the hammer needs to come down hard on those people. And the same thing is true in politics, because these people, as Romans 13 tells us, these people, the Senator Bohachiks, are ministers of God. They go and do justice. They carry out justice, create justice, and God sees them as ministers of God. And so they have to be held to a high standard as well. And again, if I was a voter in that district, I'd say, all right, listen, we have mercy, we have compassion, we want health and healing and redemption. That's absolutely true. But at the same time, we got a job to do, and you need somebody in that seat that you can trust is living a life that is above that level of reproach, not just at the level, but above it, so that we know they are upstanding citizens that are going to do what's right, not just in front of the citizens of Indiana, but also in front of the eyes of the Lord.
All right, the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith, is our guest. Let's take a break, because I think we'd be remiss, Casey, if we didn't get into what we've talked about quite a bit on this show the past week, which is Diego, the Secretary of State in Hungary, a foreign country, appears cutting agriculture-related deals or making agriculture-related statements and promises. Mike is the head of agriculture. Let's ask him about that when we come back.
Sounds good. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
In 49 states, it's just basketball, but this is Indiana.
It's been a quarter of a century since Indiana has gone to the finals.
I don't even have words right now, man. It's really exciting.
This team thrives in adversity, man.
All the credit to the Gamebridge Fieldhouse fans. You guys lifted us up today.
This place is absolutely electric.
Listen to the Pacers in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Coverage starts Thursday at 8, tip-off at 8:30 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct, and what an incredible deal going on right now. Universal Windows Direct has their home improvement season sale, where right now, if you've been thinking about upgrading your windows, what an incredible deal. Payments as low as $99 a month, or no payments and no interest for an entire year. That's right. Payments for as low as $99 a month, or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Weather's getting warm out there. If you're looking to stay cool in your home all summer long, new windows might be a great place to start. And Universal Windows Direct has you covered with their home improvement season sale. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the details, and most importantly, schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574, or check them out on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321321. That's BIKE to 321321.
Grit, hard work, training, professionalism, and being ready at a moment's notice. That's what we stand for at Fire Dogs Junk Removal, because we were founded by firefighters. When it's time to clear out clutter, big or small, we've got you covered. From old furniture to hot tubs and even entire decks, our team handles it all. Call Fire Dogs Junk Removal today at 1-800-211-DOG or book online at firedogs.com. Fire Dogs Junk Removal, your local team ready to answer the call.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
We're the ones who had an ocean deep inside. There ain't no sin to be glad you're alive. I wanna find one face.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. We're going to do another segment with the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Indiana, Micah Beckwith, because there's so much to get to. We spent all the last segment talking about the, what do you call it, the detainment and pending charges.
Correct.
It's so convoluted.
Of an Indiana senator.
And it was covered up for so long inside the State House. Mike Bohachik, the state senator who was charges related to OWI. But I think there's certainly other things our audience wants us to get to. Hey, before we let you go, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss this. So Tiptoe Diego goes to Hungary. He basically is saying he's cutting ag deals. You're the head ag guy. Aren't you a little pissed off that this guy's in a foreign country claiming to can he do your job? And if not, aren't you a little pissed off about that?
No, he's not. He's not making ag deals, Rob. And I saw the post. I was at Pizza King the other day when it came out, and you posted about that. And you said, Mike is not upset. He's just eating pizza. Let me tell you. First of all, I was right before that. I was at the Indiana Packers pork production plant meeting with executives. Before that, I was at one of the best cattle family-owned farms in Indiana in Carroll County. And before that, in that same day, I was doing a roundtable with members of the Carroll County faith community. And so we had a full day, and I didn't know what was going on, so I looked into it. He's over there because of CPAC. He was invited because of the Hungary delegation that's close to his wife to come and have conversations with Purdue about agriculture. He's not making deals. He can't make deals. He doesn't have that authority. He has to go through the U.S. Department of Ag, through the councils and the coalitions that we have. And so I looked into it. There's no there. And I said, hey, listen, if he wants to go promote agriculture in Hungary or any other country for that matter, I don't care. Like, go tell people how great Indiana agriculture is. That's awesome. He's a diplomat. He's Secretary of State everywhere he goes. If he wants to have conversations touting Indiana agriculture, that's good for our farmers, that's good for our state, and I'm fine with that. So there was no there. I wasn't upset about that.
So what is he, Mike? He's Taylor Swift. People are paying to jettison him across the world. Like he shows up somewhere and 20,000 people can't wait to buy a ticket to see Diego. Come on, dude. Cut the crap. You don't believe this. You don't believe that for a second.
His wife is from Hungary, Rob. Like, he's got a good relationship with the people of Hungary, and they see him as somebody that's a leader in America. They want to bring him over. Again, if he's Taylor Swift, he's probably writing love songs or ex-love songs about you. I mean, how terrible Rob Kendall's been to him. He might start putting out singles, about that if you're not careful. But
so you don't care at all about this. You think this behavior for this guy, a state elected official, to keep disappearing to foreign countries, and then when people ask him logical questions, he tells them to bugger off, and then he's super flippant with the taxpayers about it. You think this is normal behavior? Oh, and by the way, he's claiming to do your job while he's over there. Who's in charge of ag, Micah? You or him?
That's right. I'm in charge of ag.
So did you send him over there? Did you tell him to do it?
He didn't do anything wrong, Rob. I didn't tell him to do it. He didn't do anything wrong. He's over there talking about agriculture, and I'm not saying that he needs to be more transparent.
Can I go over there and talk about agriculture? Can I claim to do the job? Who is allowed to do your job, Micah?
Please. Do it. I would love it because that's good for farmers. Talk about how great Indiana agriculture is. He's not doing anything wrong. If Daniel Elliott does it, if Elise Nushala does it, I would give him high fives. Say, yes, go tout Indiana. Go tout what we're doing. And he's not breaking the law. He's not doing anything unethical. Now, when it comes to the transparency of the India trip, I have a problem with that. Who did pay for that? We should know about those things. He needs to be more transparent. I told him that. I've called it out publicly on your show and other shows. But in this particular trip with Hungary, he's not doing anything wrong. He's over there speaking at CPAC. He can talk about Indiana ag. That helps our farmers, Rob, and I'm about helping our farmers.
Are you going to ask him who paid for the trip in India when you're with him June 6th at the Lincoln Day presentation?
I already have, but I can ask him again, and I plan on
publicly
doing it,
when you're on the stage, Micah, in front of everyone. You want the answers. You have the opportunity to get the answers.
Sure. I can ask him publicly. I can ask him. I've already asked him publicly. I've said it on your show, Rob. So,
No. You're there with him, Micah. You're there with him. You're a talented guy. You can get up there. You can sing some songs. You can play the guitar. You can say, I'm not leaving this stage until you answer who paid for India.
Yep. And by the way, I've already told him that he needs to put out a statement. And what was told to me, what his office told me, what I have been under the impression is that this week sometime they are putting out a press release saying where all of that money came from, who paid for that trip, and I'm excited to see what comes of that. Maybe nothing will come of it, but it's because of pressure that has been put on him, and I think it's the right thing to do.
By us!
I called for it.
By us, Micah! That's where the pressures come from. And guys like you who have the ability to do something about it keep acting like it's no big deal. Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You have defended this guy time and time again. The pressure has been put on by people like us. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
You're the media, Rob. Do your job. For it. You guys expose it. I call for transparency. That's how it goes. Do your job. That's what you're supposed to do. And you do a pretty good job of it. You're just completely unhinged right now, and people are getting tired of this witch hunt. You've got to start putting up or shutting up because you said Diego was a womanizer when he ran for office. You said he was under a federal investigation, FBI investigation. Nothing ever came from that. Now
Mike, I've never said any of those things. Mike, I've never said any of those things.
WIBC, your company said it. Your company tried to vilify me, and nothing's ever come of it, Rob. At some point, you got to start putting up or shutting up, or you're just going to be the boy who cried wolf. Again, he needs
to be
transparent.
How about with Mike Bohasic, Micah? How about that? Were we the boy who cried wolf then? No, this show gets it right. The show you're on gets it right. And people like you and Rokita in that State House think this is some big joke. We haven't said any of those things. Abdul said those things. We have gotten it right. We have led on this. We're done, Casey. Go to break. Go to break. We're done.
Have you called Abdul out?
Yes, we have absolutely had Abdul on. He has made the reports, Micah. This is ridiculous. People have looked at you to lead. You have not led. You've defended this guy over and over and over again. And I get it, man. You're compromised on the car the same way he is. Go ahead, Micah. Last word.
Hey, Micah.
I don't defend.
All right,
I don't defend him. I don't defend him. I'm saying he needs to be more transparent. What I'm saying is I think there has been unfair, unjust accusations toward him when it comes to the Hungary trip. And I'm saying, listen, I looked into it. He didn't do anything wrong. And I'm going to stand for what's right when it's right to do so. And I'm doing that. Again, that doesn't mean he hasn't done anything nefarious. And you need to keep looking into it. And I'll keep calling it out. Do your job. I'll do my job. We're going to hold our government accountable.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. Summer's here. So are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you're going to be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during these hot days of summer. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free during their big, awesome semi-annual sale and a free entry door when you purchase a house of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. Get this deal, lock it in right now, but you have to say Hammer and Nigel sent you. You don't get the deal unless you say Hammer and Nigel sent you. The big semi-annual sale from Window Nation. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free, a free entry door when you purchase a house of windows. You don't pay anything until 2027. Schedule that free estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob. You know, it is June. That means summertime, and you're probably looking for something to do with your kids. Well, listen up, because Life Church has the answer. June 9th through the 13th, it's Vacation Bible School at all 4 of their convenient Central Indiana locations. Kids 4 years old through 5th grade. There'll be fun-filled Bible stories, games, snacks, and so much more where your kids will learn that Jesus points the way. He is the true north. Life Church, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Vacation Bible School, June 9th through the 14th. Learn more on the web, lifechurchin.com. Hey, guys, it's Rob for Wheat Grow Hair Indy. You know, guys who are on top of their game choose Wheat Grow Hair Indy. People like Rajiv Ram, 2-time Olympic medal winner. Go to WeGrowHairIndy.com, and you'll see who these champions are. Top radio personalities, coaches, former NFL players. They know We Grow Hair Indy had the technology and results to grow their hair back. I chose We Grow Hair Indy because I wanted to get my confidence back. And every time I look in the mirror, I'm so glad I made the choice to go to We Grow Hair Indy. And you can get your confidence back. It's so simple. Head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com today or call 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation, and you could be getting your confidence back. Be on top of your game and look like a champion. Call We Grow Hair Indy today, 317-522-2995.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Being a senior makes playing high school sports even more special. I'm Claire Hack from Jennings County High School. Over the last 4 years, I think about all the memories made, how teammates became best friends, how coaches mentored me and helped me grow.
I'm Allie Ward from Boonville High School. Being a senior is bittersweet. It's fun being a leader for younger teammates, but it'll also be sad the last time I wear my jersey, take my last bus ride, huddle up at our last matchup.
I'm Grayson Mealy from Westell High School. I'll miss the adrenaline rush, fans cheering, the community support. Everything we've learned about the game and life, our memories will never forget.
I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Thank you to our seniors for being champions of high school sports and representing your communities proudly these past 4 years. Fans, support your seniors by buying a ticket to their final game. This is our final send-off. This is one final memory. This is your IHSAA.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Looking into Biden's mental state. You've got a clear radar, sunny skies, 74 degrees in downtown Indianapolis, a high of 87 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The White House says it is launching an investigation into the mental competency of former President Joe Biden in the final days of his presidency.
On the morning of Inauguration Day, the Biden family pardons were a surprise to us, but were they also a surprise to Joe Biden? That's what officials here want to know. The new scrutiny is on Biden-era pardons, so that would include preemptive pardons for his sister Valerie, his brother Frank, his brother James, and his wife Sarah, and then also for Trump critics like Mark Milley, Anthony Fauci, and Liz Cheney.
Fox's Peter Ducey reporting from the White House. Staffers from the previous administration are set to testify before Congress soon on their role in the alleged cover-up. The U.S. Senate beginning deliberations about President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill this week after it was recently approved in the House. Democrats argue the budget bill will actually hurt the economy and slash services such as Medicaid and food stamps. House Speaker Mike Johnson, though, has said he hopes to have the bill signed by the president by the 4th of July. The Department of Education is declaring June as Title IX month to honor women and girl athletes. amidst concerns of transgender athletes taking opportunities away from biological females. The department will focus on celebrating women's achievements and reversing actions that undermine Title IX. And San Antonio police say there is no evidence of a hate crime in the deadly shooting of actor Jonathan Joss. The voice actor, known for his role as John Redcorn on King of the Hill, was tragically killed by a gunman on his property. Joss's husband claims the neighbor was homophobic, and that is what led up to the shooting. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Are you tired? Are you exhausted from holding everyone accountable? It's your job. You're the media, Rob. Do your job.
Look, I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm in a real life. Jerry and I talked about this last week, Indy Spanglist, and I'm in a real life Truman Show where everybody's just watching me live my life. And you know what I'm tired of is nobody being willing to pay the price for you, the taxpayer. People talk a good game, but then when they get an opportunity to do it, to live it, to walk it, they don't. They'll do it to an extent, to the extent they're comfortable doing it, or the areas or pockets in which they're comfortable. But day in and day out, very few people have the intestinal fortitude to live it. It's why I told you I had to get out of it. I was going, I know we say this and we chuckle and we have a lot of fun. I had to get out of that because I was going to die. Like, I felt my body in my early 30s begin to change dramatically because I lived it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I fought every battle. And I was exhausted, and I had to go. And that's why when people say, well, you need to go back, I don't think physically I could go back at now at 40 plus years old, because I would do it again. And can you imagine doing it on a state level? Like, I don't think I would survive. And and of course you're referencing the little back and forth we just had with the lieutenant governor.
You know what that's like for me? That's like when mom and dad are fighting and you just go to your room like, please stop fighting. Please stop fighting. I mean, it's good. Michael likes to fight with people, and I don't believe he's used to somebody who can keep up with him.
I think that's fair. I also think we wanted Micah to be something he's not. I think that's become clear, and that's you. It's easy to say stuff when you're running.
Correct. And then when you get in there, actually executing it.
He doesn't have the stomach for it. He has the stomach to fight with the crazy people that show up in Boone County. He likes that. He's a great speaker. He's incredibly charismatic. He's perfect for that. I said he'd be perfect working for Charlie Kirk. He doesn't have the stomach, though, the guts, the fortitude to fight the government battles. He's not interested in governing. He's not interested in good public policy. They took his stuff from him. He didn't fight it because he doesn't care. They being the General Assembly. They'll take more from him. He doesn't care. And we wanted him to be. I said this for a long time. Micah was like, in the movies, there's like the angel and the devil on somebody's shoulder, and it's the same guy. That was how I saw Micah. He was the better version of me. Better in the sense of I saw him as a guy who could get in there and could work effectively inside of the system. Like, he had the ability to have conversations that I don't have the ability to have because I've worn myself out of those, right? And we do what we do here and do it well. And I saw him as like that guy. He was me. It was me, but the guy who could do it better. He's not anything. He's not close. He doesn't want to fight. He wants to fight with the people he can beat. He wants to fight when he gets on the news, if it'll get him on the news. He just doesn't want to have the fights on things like this. He's disinterested in the public policy side of this. And the crazy part is, allegations for a guy who craves attention, rooting out potential public corruption or unethical behavior. Like, if he called a press conference and demanded he would be the lead story on the news, and like he doesn't want it. And I don't. That's what's it's so damn frustrating, Casey, because we saw him as the guy who would take it all on, and he just doesn't, whether it's the guts or fortitude or whatever, he's just not wired to do it. He doesn't want to do it.
Well, right. I mean, he could really do two things. He could come out today with a really strong statement against what Bohacek did and what he thinks should happen going forward with that senator. And on, is it Thursday or Friday, at that Lincoln Day dinner with Diego Morales, he can publicly ask him in front of everybody, a full room, who paid for your trip to India.
Yep.
Now, he told us that he thinks that they're going to release something this week.
Boy, they better do it. Or
Did you hear that
He's
part?
going to look like a complete idiot. Not that that's the first time for him, but yeah, I mean, great. And why? But it shouldn't be this hard. Like they always make us out. You notice how in that interview we were made out to somehow be the bad guys for demanding the most basics of transparency. Whether it's corrupt behavior, out and out corruption, I don't know. But nobody sees the facts as they're laid out. That a guy goes to a foreign country. Okay, let's just give him Hungary. That's not normal either, but let's give him Hungary because his wife is from there. By the way, my wife's from Wyoming. How much time do I spend in Wyoming, Case? Where's your husband from?
Chicago.
You go back there all the time?
Well, occasionally.
Yeah, very rarely, right? And that's not even a foreign country.
It's not that far.
But let's give him Hungary. Nobody thinks anything that happened in India is remotely normal. That a Secretary of State, who, by the way, Micah, in that article, they referred to the Hungary trip, they referred to him as the Secretary of State of Foreign Affairs. Just a misprint?
Wasn't he on personal time, though?
Well, depends. By the minute, it changed.
So confused.
But nobody thinks India was normal. Nobody thinks there's anything that is not a giant red flag about that a guy, a Secretary of State, who's in charge of elections and business administration, goes to a foreign country with a guy who has some mysterious contract with his office that they won't tell you what it is, by the way. And that guy that he has the mysterious contract with the office, they won't tell you what it is. Because we've asked, by the way, Micah, we've asked the questions. We've tried every avenue possible. Just like we did with Bohacek, right? Just like we did. We went through the same approach. And he disappears to a foreign country. They don't tell you where he's at, by the way. Remember, that was all a big mystery.
No, that was found because somebody else posted pictures.
With the guy who has a contract with his office, who then brags about being in that same country with him and selling access to visas to this country. We're not bad people for demanding
But we're
information.
told that we're on a witch hunt.
Yeah, that's
no,
what he
we're
said.
seeking transparency in the information.
Yeah.
That they refuse to give us.
And that is,
what's the big secret?
And that's your job, Micah. Our job in the media. I do it every day, Micah. Minute after minute, hour after hour, night after night after night. I live this. I live this. Do you know the amount of time I spent this weekend putting together the pieces on Bohacek? My whole weekend. Something that is amazing that you, as the president of the Senate, claim to have no idea about. What are you doing each day? In the Senate that you control, and by the way, I don't think Micah knew. I think he's that clueless, and I think they work around him because they think he's a goof and a joke. Bray think you're a goof and a joke, and you allow it to happen. You know what would show them you're serious? If you held a press conference and demanded that they change the Constitution, that they stop allowing behavior like Bohacek's to go forward. You know what would draw their attention? They treat you like an adult. Is if you held a press conference and demanded Todd Rokita open an investigation and the Inspector General get us answers on what happened in India. But no, yeah, I am going to call you out for treating Pizza King like it's more important than potential government corruption. And again, we've never said anything. Abdul said it. Don't put that on us. We've stayed in the lane of what's going on, just like we did with Gabe. And
away for a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
And were we right about Bohacek? Remember when I put the thing out over the weekend? Oh, there's Rob. He doesn't have any proof on this. What happened?
Yeah.
It ended up being exactly right. Micah just doesn't have the stomach for it, and it's time for us to move on wanting him to be something he's not. He's not capable of being it, and it's our fault, my fault. I'm not saying you, the listener. It's my fault for believing that he could be that. He's not. So I've just got to move past that and find another route of somebody else who wants to be that person who will stand up.
I've got something else for you to go to take care of. The town of Brownsburg invites community and area residents to a public open house to discuss the Lincolnwood Park Master Plan.
Okay, so this is
another... Look at you. You're busy Thursday night at 6 o'clock. I've made plans for you. Actually, the town of Brownsburg has made plans for you.
So this is what I love. Because remember when Braun stabbed us on the back, and I'm in that meeting, and then I think he said it publicly too. And Micah said it. You got to hold these local lawmakers accountable. Okay, so I spent my weekend holding Mike Bohachik accountable because Micah and those people in the General Assembly wouldn't do their jobs. Okay, so I spent my whole weekend doing that. Yesterday, Monday, was all dedicated to getting him to tell the truth. Today was talking about Diego. Then Thursday, I'm going to go try to prevent my local government from spending $100 million on a swimming pool, a rec center, and an amphitheater that just 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, overwhelmingly, I got the public to show up and say they didn't want. Then I'm also supposed to go to the county council and beg them not to raise my lid. Then I'm also supposed to go to my school board and beg them not to have a referendum. So I just don't get to be a dad. I don't get to be a husband because in their world, it's my job. It's always my job. What's your job, Micah? What's Braun's job? What's your job, Jim Lucas? Because were you here? The Dumbass of the Day award.
No.
Oh, we anointed Jim Lucas multiple times the winner of the first ever Kendall and Casey Dumbass of the Day award because he posted the same thing. This is all property tax is a local government issue, as though the property tax fairy came and invented the plan by which assessments are levied and how property taxes are made. And we said, well, then if it's all local, why did you vote on a 368-page bill you didn't read?
Exactly.
So everything is my job. Diego is my job. Bohachik is my job. Stopping the $100 million in Brownsburg is my job.
Yeah, you're strongly encouraged to attend this meeting. So I'm back to my original question. Are you tired? Are you exhausted? From holding everyone accountable?
It's just like it's utterly ridiculous. Nobody will stand up. And there'll be people behind the scenes, hey, you keep going.
Well, at least you've got some cheerleaders, people who are supporting you.
I love our audience. I would do all this all day, every day for our audience, but it's always Rob needs to do it. You've got to fight. And in the case of the local government stuff, that's what they're telling you about stopping all of this stuff. You're just supposed to live in the local government. When they have the ability, the state, with the stroke of a pen, to stop all of it themselves, but they're going to make life hell on you, and they go, well, you didn't do enough. You didn't do your job. Well, what's your job in all this? You didn't do enough.
I'm curious about the Lincolnwood Park Master Plan. It offers 3 distinct program areas. And which one is your favorite? The $20 million one, the $55 million one, or the $16 million one?
And this is my point. We just went through this a year and a half ago. The no's flooded the meeting. They spoke up. I believe it was 13 against, 1 in favor, 2 neutral. And yet, here we go. We're back here again, doing it all over again. But Braun said, I'm supposed to just keep my entire life is supposed to just keep fighting this stuff. That's my job now. Yes, Casey.
Yeah.
You didn't ask if I was ready to just light myself on fire. You asked if I was tired.
No, don't say that. I asked you if you're tired. Hammer's going to join us next. It is 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, the border czar Tom Homan is convinced a terror attack will come to U.S. soil. Will it? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
You've heard about Terry Bush at R&R Agency for a long time. How easy he is to work with and how he'll find you the best insurance coverage at the best rate. Now hear from one of his clients.
Hi, Terry. Just wanted to touch base with you and let you know I got your email yesterday, and just wanted to say thank you for all of your help. This has been one of the easiest things that I've done in transitioning to my new job. So of all the things that have been going on lately, you've made this quite easy. So I do appreciate all your help, and thank you again.
Terry has been helping people for over 35 years. If you're retiring early, self-employed, or need small group insurance, call 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. rragency.org. As always, God bless America. Peace through strength and common sense government.
Nothing better than taking the family out to a midsummer baseball game out at Victory Field. And my friends at AAA Hoosier Motor Club can help deliver on some big-time savings. They're partners with the Indianapolis Indians and sponsors of their fabulous Friday night fireworks. And if you're an Indians fan and a AAA member, you get all sorts of perks. $4 off tickets to all home games, plus 10% concessions and Indians Pro Shop discounts.
Yeah, going to Victory Field, always fun. Same with going on a vacation. And AAA members, you save when you have a membership. You get discounts on hotels, rental cars, and even complimentary travel planning. Plus, if you run into trouble out on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. Join AAA today. Visit AAA.com, call 844-GO, AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office.
Are you planning for your retirement? Ensure you're on the right track with a crucial step, tax planning. At Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, every retirement plan we design includes comprehensive tax planning. Imagine maximizing your savings while minimizing tax burdens. Tax planning isn't just about the present. It's a cornerstone for retirement planning. The less you have to give to Uncle Sam, the more cash flow you have in retirement. So take control of your financial situation. Proper tax planning can help optimize your retirement income, leaving you with more time to enjoy the life you've worked hard for. Let us help you create a tax-efficient retirement plan. Your future self will thank you. Call Absolute Wealth Management, LLC, 317-288-0634. That's 317-288-0634. Or visit AbsoluteWealthManagementLLC.com. William Gonzalez offers investment advisory service through Gradient Advisors, LLC, 877-885-0508, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Absolute Wealth Management is not a registered investment advisor nor an affiliate of Gradient Advisors. Gradient Advisors, LLC, and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting advice. Insurance offered through William Gonzalez, independent agent.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Bear and Ryan Hetrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, question.
Yes, sir.
That's Jason Hammer, by the way.
Hey, now.
It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob Casey's here. Ever blown a .283?
That's pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably been that, but I certainly wasn't behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's a lot, but there's nothing wrong. I mean, look, who hasn't drank too much in their life? And I'm not saying it's good or ideal, but you're a lawmaker. You're behind the wheel of an automobile. You're so wasted. I mean, look, I've seen a lot of drunk people at the Qdoba in Broad Ripple at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
Or La Bamba. I know you were a La Bamba guy.
I was a La Bamba guy, yeah.
You got to be pretty messed up to be noticed and people call the coppers on you.
At 5 in the afternoon at a Panda Express.
He was doing some day drinking.
5 in the afternoon at a Panda Express. Now, mind you, We're not talking about some strip club. We're not talking about some place that had like a penny beer happy hour lunch special. Panda Express. So he got hammered, I'm assuming somewhere else.
And they got the munchies.
And imagine being so obnoxiously drunk, people called the cops. Think about all the weirdos we see on the average day. We don't call the cops. You know, like, oh, that guy's hammered. Oh, look, there's a bum that's doing inappropriate things here outside of our window. We don't really call the cops. We just let it go. For someone to say, this guy is so obnoxious and so out of it, I'm afraid he's going to get in the car and kill somebody, to call the cops, that's bad.
Mike Bohachik is who we're talking about. He's a state senator who is now facing multiple charges related to OWI. What's the drunkest you've ever been?
Probably to the point where I couldn't control my bowels. And my first year in college, my roommate, I may or may not have left the president at his desk.
What?
My roommate, who is a big, just kind of stinky dude, you know, because I didn't get to pick my roommate.
Yeah.
And, man, I was playing Century Club with, like, Jägermeister. I was mixing in, like, Aftershock.
Would you like to tell us what the Century Club is?
You're supposed to take a shot of beer out of a shot glass, you know, for every minute for 100 minutes. Yeah. And at first you think, oh, it's not so bad.
Right.
But it adds up quick. Well, we ran out of beer. So we started mixing in, like, the hard booze that we had.
You need, like, a case to even start it.
And I may or may not have dropped a deuce in my roommate's desk drawer because I couldn't make it to the bathroom.
In his drawer! Little present for later.
The way I see it, he had BO and he stunk, so I was settling the score.
Wow!
But you know what I wasn't doing? Driving.
That's right.
Or
annoying the patrons at the Panda Express.
Sir, this is a Panda Express.
Oh, that's great. There's no way Bray didn't know about this.
No, he knew. He knew. But again, it's the head of the snake, and we say this all the time. Oh, no, Rod Bray did something that makes him look like a weasel. This is my shocked face, right? He's going to do that. Weasels do weasel things. But until you vote him out of a primary, and last time I checked, he just won last election.
That's right.
So you're stuck with Butt Sniffer McGee for the next 3 years. Get ready, Bal, because there's not much you can do about it. Gotta show up at these primaries, people. Again, I'm beating the dead horse here. I know it. But if you hate getting screwed all the time, stop sending back the same people that screw you. I'm not saying you have to vote for a Democrat because I know some people get weirded out by that, but find a new Republican. Jeez.
Yeah, okay, so you got a big announcement yesterday.
I'm excited for this. So Thursday, we're doing the big show on the road at the casino in Shelbyville.
Hey! It's more of a Shelbyville type of idea.
It's more of a Shelbyville idea. Yeah, we're going to be inside the Caesar Sportsbook, inside Horseshoe Casino, Indy, right there in Shelbyville, my old stomping grounds. 3 o'clock, the big show starts. Get there early to get one of those comfortable seats in the sportsbook, right? We're going to be gambling. We're going to be drinking.
Century Club?
Maybe some Century Club. I don't know. I better bring some Depends.
Casey, what's the most drunk you've ever been?
Not that drunk.
Oh, bull crap.
I've never.
You're going to sit here and try to act like I'm a lady. I've never been that drunk. Oh, come on.
Oh, no. I've been drunk before, but I've never left a dookie in someone's desk.
Well, what's the most drunk you've ever been?
I mean, I've thrown up, if that's.
No,
you know.
there's, like, you didn't, like, get randomly drunk, wake up with Bobby Brown or something.
Yeah, everybody's done something embarrassing while they're drunk.
Right. I just told a story that's ridiculous. Got to give us something here.
I've told the time I tried to get out of the parking garage and lift the thing up and had to have multiple people for me. You're not strong enough to do that.
I passed out face down in a watery ditch to avoid the police.
Yeah, come on, Casey. Give
All
us
right,
something
well, you
good.
know what I did last night, you guys? Just kidding. It didn't happen last night.
You've never done something ridiculously embarrassing while you were drunk.
I mean, no, because
That you're utterly ashamed
I'm
of
not
the
an
next
idiot.
day.
I don't go out in
This
public.
feels like the Simpsons episode where they take Ned Flanders to Vegas. You've never done any living in your whole life.
Hey, what's coming up this afternoon?
We have Jeff Boggs coming in. He always brings the laughs. We'll talk about this Pacers series and a lot more. We'll see if we can find Nigel a new celebrity crush to fall in love with.
Because Chalamet's done now.
Chalamet's done now. And more about the big live show on Thursday. I want all the YouTube chatters to be there.
Thanks, Hammer. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Stop putting screens on your gutters. If the holes are too big, debris gets in and you're still cleaning your gutters. If the holes are too small, it sits on top and you're cleaning the screens. And those screens will need to be replaced. They just don't last. Pat Sullivan here. I have Gutter Helmet on my home and business, and it has no holes, slots, or screens. It keeps the debris out and the water in. Since 1981, Gutter Helmet has been America's #1 choice for gutter protection. And this is a great time of year to call Gutter Helmet of Central Indiana, because right now, Gutter Helmet is offering a 15% discount plus 12 months no interest financing if paid in full within 12 months. Call 800-5HELMET, that's 800-5HELMET, to schedule a free estimate. 15% off is good through the end of June. Restrictions apply and cannot be combined with other offers. Call Gutter Helmet today at 800-5HELMET or go to gutterhelmetindy.com and never clean your gutters again.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like Family Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers studios, what led up to a deadly shooting on Indy's north side this morning? How many years an Indy man is getting for shooting his pregnant girlfriend 2 years ago? A state senator is facing charges of driving drunk earlier this year, and how the Pacers are attacking this week before Game 1 of the NBA Finals on Thursday. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
One big, beautiful debate.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's going on this week at the Senate. Considering the massive budget bill House Republicans already passed, but some GOP senators won't support it without changes.
I can't be on record as being one who supports increasing the debt by $5 trillion. I think that's irresponsible.
Senator Rand Paul tells Fox Business he supports extending the 2017 tax cuts, but there aren't enough spending cuts to also offset this.
Increasing spending for the military and for the border, $300 billion. That's actually more than all the DOGE cuts that we've found so far. So something doesn't really add up here.
Now, President Trump must have been watching, posting on Truth Social right after that Senator Paul has very little understanding of the bill, loves to vote no on everything, has crazy ideas, and the people in his home state of Kentucky can't stand him. The president also posted the economy's booming because of tariffs as he puts countries in trade talks with the U.S. on a deadline to make their best offers by tomorrow while the trade war with China simmers.
The U.S. says China is holding back items that they were supposed to release under that 90-day tariff pause last month. These products include rare earth minerals, and that is a problem for the administration because those minerals can be used in anything from cars to fighter jets, and China processes about 90% of the global supply. But China says it's the U.S. that's violating the agreement.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. 2 manhunts continue for 3 fugitives. It's day 10 of the search for Grant Hardin, a former police chief turned convicted rapist and murderer who broke out of an Arkansas prison. It's more than 2 weeks on the run for the last of the 10 inmates who broke out of a New Orleans jail, Derek Groves and Antoine Massey, who has been spotted online.
Appearing in a social media video denying allegations related to his arrest and escape.
I'm an innocent man. Yes, in my past, I made mistakes, but the system has failed a lot of people and not just me.
Massey also disputes reports that he threatened a jail maintenance worker to facilitate the breakout.
Jeff Manasso. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A domestic dispute turning fatal. Sunny and 78 in Indianapolis. Will get up to 87 for a high today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Police say a domestic dispute turned violent inside a North Side apartment. IMPD Sergeant William Young spoke Tuesday outside an apartment building along Pennsylvania Street near 38th and Meridian.
Tell you there were several individuals inside the apartment who were not injured. Hopefully those individuals, once they get the services and the assistance that they need, they'll be able to speak with our investigators, and hopefully we can try to, again, hold this individual accountable and responsible.
A woman was killed. A man seriously hurt. Police are still looking into the shooting. An Indianapolis man is getting 37 years in prison for shooting his pregnant girlfriend in the head in 2023. The woman survived the gunshot, but her baby unfortunately died as a result of the shooting. 24-year-old Stephen Weiland was found guilty of attempted murder, aggravated battery, and domestic battery in March. He had his sentencing hearing on Monday. OWI charges for a member of the Indiana General Assembly. Chris Davis has the story.
State Senator Michael Bohacek was arrested in Michigan City January 24th with charges held until May 15th, according to court documents. The arrest happened when an officer pulled Bohacek over for speeding, then noticed his balance was off and his speech was slow. According to the officer, Bohacek was administered a test for his blood alcohol level, and that was decisive, a .283, which is more than 3 times the legal limit. One of the charges against Bohacek is OWI greater than .15. Both are misdemeanors. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An official announcement coming last hour from Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and other local leaders about the U.S. Olympic swimming trials coming back to the city. Lucas Oil Stadium will be the host site for the trials leading up to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Both the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder in prep mode for Game 1 of the NBA Finals on Thursday. Tyrese Halliburton says having Pascal Siakam as a teammate has done wonders for his growth.
You know, it's just really special that he's been here. He's been like a big brother for me, somebody that I can really trust, somebody that I can really lean on to talk to, and just somebody who can always keep me steady.
It's been 2 months since OKC and Indiana have played each other. The Pacers lost to the Thunder in both of those meetings during the regular season. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you ever checked your Social Security statement to see how much money you'll get in retirement? Guess what? This number could be a lot less or a lot more than the number on your statement. It's Hammer and Nigel, and you could discover how you could get every penny that's rightfully yours with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy here in Indy. We trust Bill, and you can too.
So if you have saved more than $200,000 but have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery. 317-648-5120. This free analysis takes the guesswork out of filing for your benefits, and most importantly, it could help you get every penny that's rightfully yours. Free analysis. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, that's counselor number 2 that says Hogsett's got to go.
Counselor Andy Nielsen. He sat on the investigative committee. He called for Hogsett to resign.
Okay, so this relates to the report that was released while you were gone, the long-awaited report about the investigation related to allegations against Thomas Carl Cook, the former deputy mayor, that he was involved in sexual impropriety while in the mayor's office, and that Hogsett, whether or not Hogsett acted appropriately in terms of when these allegations were brought to him, because the Mirror Indy and Indy Star articles both very clearly lay out that these women, at least one of them in great detail, went to Hogsett in person and electronically about this. And what they determined was, and it's exactly what we said was going to happen, which is nobody was going to be held to any account. They said legally Hogsett acted in the and the city acted in the confines of the law, legally being the key word. Not ethically, not morally. They don't dispute I don't think any of the allegations. They don't say, oh, this person is clearly making this up. And the city spent $500,000 to get what we told you they were going to get from the moment. I knew the moment this investigation was announced, and it's funny how you remember things. I was at the lieutenant governor's debate at the fairgrounds. That'd be late summerish, early fallish, whatever you want to call it. And Hammer and Nigel had one of the city county councilors, I think it was Brian Mowry, on in the wake of this. And he had the enthusiasm of a potted plant. And I said, I think I said it on air on Off the Rails, the next Off the Rails. I said, this is going to be a colossal waste of money. They're going to drag this out to where the public loses interest in it. They'll find that somebody didn't act right, but there was nothing legally wrong, and everybody go their merry way, and they'll give the Hogsett the headline he wants.
And that's exactly what happened.
How many times are we right? Just like we're like crystal ball people here, Casey, and it shouldn't be that obvious. And I obviously blame Hogsett for his actions. I blame Thomas Carl Cook for his actions. But I also blame the city county council Republicans because while they're very small in number, the reason you're very small in number is nobody believes in you. You offer nothing. There's no reason to switch over to you guys because people see it as basically the same side of the coin, right? People don't see a difference. They don't see any reason. They don't offer anything inspiring. They don't come out forcefully in ways that attract people to them. And in a blue county, which Marion County obviously is now, you're not going to get people to be inspired and vote for you. It's the same reason they don't vote for Shreve for mayor. They didn't vote for the prosecutor. There's nothing the Republicans offer, and you kind of see this wishy-washy response to the thing in which it's two Democrats, Nielsen and Jesse Brown, who have called on this guy Hogsett to resign.
Right. Nielsen said that the standards were clearly inadequate and that Hogsett showed a profound lack of judgment. And he concluded that accountability starts with a change in leadership. Hogsett's not going to retire.
Now, what's interesting...
He's not going to resign.
What's interesting is one of the women who is the accuser... I believe Lauren Roberts, I think is her name. She posted a detailed, and I'm also supposed to reach out to her, which I need to do. I was going to do it this weekend, and then of course we got, that's our job, Casey. Our job is just to solve every crisis in the state of Indiana, and I was going to reach out to her this weekend, and then this Bohachik stuff came up, and I got totally focused on that. Maybe we'll call her when we get off the air today.
She's the one who put out the big Substack, right?
She did, and the Substack is fascinating. It's a public document that she has put out with a detailed timeline of her engagement with Thomas Carl Cook, with Joe Hogsett, with the various people in city government trying to get somebody to do something about this. And she also has allegations in there about Joe Hogsett. This is weird. Joe Hogsett having a drinking problem. Did you know this?
I've heard something about that before. Like, we just had the 5-year anniversary of the riot.
That's right. It disappeared. Oh, yes, you missed that. Yes, the 5-year anniversary. But anyway, I do need to reach out to her and see if she's interested in coming on the show, et cetera. But the point is, it's a very detailed, professional document in terms of its formatting. It's easy to read. It's easy to understand. Now, whether you believe everything she said, some of these things are certainly backed up with audio evidence, the Mirror Indy, the Indy Star article, these emails. She posts screenshots. That this city, this woman, and then these other women who don't have quite the detailed stories publicly available that this one woman put out, but it's very clear that everybody, Hogsett's wife, et cetera, were made very clear about what this woman was saying Thomas Carl Cook was, and her story appears to be backed up with similar circumstances by other women. And so if our standard is, did you skate around by the letter of the law and not and check a box? Okay, but shouldn't we want more from our mayor than this guy checked the letter of the law?
Well, right, especially for a guy who claims to be so progressive, right?
Right, yes.
I mean, he's just protecting the status quo and going along with, I mean, the guy's probably celebrating, good, my name is cleared from this, I did nothing wrong. But when it harms people, it should not be acceptable. Certainly not from the top. But when Annie Nilsson calls for his resignation, is that just political theater, or is that legitimate? I mean, does he really want a reckoning?
No, they know nothing's going to happen. They're grandstanding. Now, Jesse Brown genuinely is... And this is what we always said about Jesse Brown. So Jesse Brown is an avowed socialist on the Indy City County Council. He is, however, the counselor I like the best because, and we've actually developed a friendship. We don't agree on almost anything, but we are basically on opposite sides of the aisle, like the Spider-Man guy, because we are the people who call out the bullcrap. And Jesse Brown recognizes inside the Democrat Party.
And he did a long time ago.
He did. He's done it since he's been there. He recognizes the corruption, the deceit, the unethical behavior, the underhandedness, the lack of transparency, and he speaks about those things unlike anybody else in city government. And so you've got to give him credit for wanting to be transparent about the things he wants to do and he wants the city to do.
Another thing that's going on downtown, South Bend-based Holiday Properties, they plan to convert 11 floors of the Circle Tower into a 175-room AC by Marriott hotel. Total investment, $40 million. So this is going to be at 55 Monument Circle.
Right by us.
It's like right across the circle.
I would say we can see it, but the blinds are shut here on the YouTube. You can see this.
So this is an old Art Deco building, right? Been around since 1930.
Yeah, you're about to see some serious changes to downtown for a couple of reasons. One, like this building we're in the next year, I've got a feeling you're going to, while it may not start, you will see the announcement of something major with this building because we're moving out. We're moving to the old Urban One Studios, St. Joseph Street, and we'll be out of here. There will essentially there's a bank down in the lobby. Maybe there's another tenant, but it's 7. MS Corporate Communications is the top floor, but there's several floors that are primo real estate and space that they're not going to let sit empty. Mr. Smolian, I would imagine, is probably getting to the point where he wants to get out of being a landlord.
Yeah.
And this is primo real estate. But what you're seeing is a residential push, and here's why. Because thanks to things like the riots and the perceived lack of public safety,
businesses
have left. And when COVID was a big part of this, when you take away the foot traffic, restaurants, merchants depend on foot traffic, and they price real estate based on the foot traffic on a daily basis of that location. Well, you've gutted that. Now, many people have returned to work, but if you're at 70, 80% capacity, at best, that's unsustainable. You cannot have downtown as it always was. You forever change that by gutting the foot traffic on a daily basis. Now the Kilroys, the Brothers, the District Taps, because they're weekend-based destinations, people are going to come in groves on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll be okay. But in terms of the circle itself, the way it looks, the way it operates, you're going to see a much stronger push towards residential, which this report is backing up.
Well, and as they make the stronger push for more sports and sporting events, and for Indianapolis to be a sports leader in the country. Well, obviously, the hotel boom is going to continue along with that.
I would be shocked if this building we are in now
doesn't become a hotel
or some sort of luxury apartment type dealio. Again, it's a massive structure. It doesn't really fit based on the floor plan for any of you who have ever been in the MS Communications building for commercial development type of stuff. It could theoretically be office space. I think it's too big. I don't think it's spaced properly to do that. I would guess. I mean, it was designed to house radio stations. That's and magazines. The Indianapolis Monthly was here as well, and that's what it was designed to do. It's perfect for that. So you've changed the way people operate, which means you've changed how businesses are going to operate, which means you've changed how people are going to buy and sell properties. And it's just a new way of life. You're going to see a largely much more residential downtown Indianapolis over the next 20, 30 years.
So Circle Tower is going to include an 11th floor rooftop terrace, and they're asking a 10-year tax abatement from the city.
Oh, which they will get. And by the way, why did we need a taxpayer-funded hotel in downtown Indianapolis? Everybody seems to be wanting to do hotels. Is anybody asking that question? Whitmer, Stephen Whitmer of Indy Reporters in the YouTube chat. Whitmer, why did we do a taxpayer-funded hotel?
Right, you've got the Intercontinental Hotel that opened, and Signia by Hilton's going to open. You've got 21C Museum Hotel's going to open. There's a Moxie Hotel. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 hotels that plan to open up over the next 3 years.
And of course, you've already got the existing plethora of hotels, such as the JW Marriott.
Right.
Etc. I have always been floored on why the city spent all of this taxpayer money on a hotel when many, many people, as evidenced by the story we're talking right now, in the private sector want to be in the hotel business, and the only giveaway, and it's a big one, right? It's worthy of scrutiny, but is a tax abatement. Why would you spend your own money, public money, if someone else is willing to do it?
Yeah, you've already got the corporate tourism dollars coming in.
Whitmer says Hogsett's looking for a legacy. Seems about right. Right now, the legacy is disappearing during the riots.
Yeah, there you go. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
When you wake up,
you understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
When you work,
as long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
When you drive home,
is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
Traffic when you need it.
Stopped on 465 again.
And updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
Harv, we need to get down. Hey, nip it, you dumb bunny. I'm talking about goose down for my jacket. I wish we could see some geese out here. Well, why? Because we need to get back in time to the state's largest gun show this weekend. Harv, I gotta get a goose before we go. That's not what I mean, you perverted furball. Now, the reason we haven't gotten any geese is because all this old hunting gear. As soon as we get back, we're going to the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show out at the fairgrounds. We're getting new everything. Camo, guns, knives, ammo, survival gear, even a GPS. What's that, Harv? Are there any deer gear dealers at the show that will give you advice? Well, sure. What? No, it's not called Deer Abbey, you idiot. Look here comes some now. Well, what do you know? Harv got 1 out of 5. I guess you could say his flight plan was canceled by air traffic control.
Celebrity voice imaginary character impersonated. The Indy 1500 Gun, Knife, and Outdoor Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the State Fairgrounds.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BIKE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BIKE to 321321. That's BIKE to 321321.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Hey, I don't know if you noticed, Casey, but food's really expensive.
You know, when I was on my vacation, my personal time, it's personal time. Every time I saw an Arby's, I was like, oh, look, they have Arby's here, too.
You may have heard it's kind of a national thing.
I know. We thought of you, though.
Yes.
Every single time we drove by an Arby's.
My dear neighbor, Fireman Scott, the other day, he was coming back. He goes, yeah, man, I heard you talking about Arby's. And there he comes out with his Arby's bag. So I've done a lot for the Brownsburg Arby's.
They should sponsor this show,
they
actually.
Really should. I like it that they don't really know what I do. They just know me by my first name, and they're very pleasant and nice. And it's one of the few places I can just go and be left alone for a while. And they just get my order fast and give me whatever sauces I want, and they know exactly what I want before I walk in.
So back in 1985, if you were to go to McDonald's and get a value meal, it was what, like $2.85?
So somebody posted this commercial because then they talked about the price of this exact same thing today.
Right.
This is an actual commercial that aired on television in the 1985? 85, so 40 years ago. All right, take a listen to this.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
I'd like a Big Mac value pack. Make it 2, please. Hey, what's that? It's their new value pack. See? You get a large Coke, a Big Mac, and a supersized fry with 30% more. All for just $2.59.
Okay, so let's order this exact same thing today in 2025, starting with 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries, and 2 large Cokes. Your total comes to $26.46 without taxes. I cannot believe people still actually eat this crap.
So what is that? That's what? Is that 10? That must have been for each meal, right? Or was it for 2 Big Macs and 2 fries?
Well, they said $6.25 for the Big Mac, $4.25 for the fries. Is that right?
No, I'm saying in 1985, what they kind of weren't clear on, is that 2 Big Macs, 2 fries, and 2 sodas for $2.59? That can't be right, is it? It had to be more than that.
There's no way that's right.
Yeah, I think it's each. I think that's each one. See, it's a little misleading because I think that had to be because he says 2, please, when he's at the door.
So the $2.85 was just for one.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. But my point is, it's what is it, $13 now, or $10, or $12? Or I mean, you're thinking 5-6 times the cost of what it was in 1985.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess maybe are you making 5-6 times what people were making in? I mean, okay, if you made. Let's do the ratio, shall we? Because we can do the inflation calculator. I always love the inflation.
Well, what was the average salary in 1985? It was less than $20,000, right?
Well, let's hang on, Casey. You're asking me too many questions at once. I cannot type this. I'm already doing all the work catching Bohachik and trying to get Diego and the town board and Brownsburg.
You have to hold everyone accountable and do math.
Average salary 1985. Let's see. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Here we go.
I've got $16,389.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. So let's just say 16.5 for rounding. All right. So. Inflation calculator, 16. All right, flash. Okay, dollar value. I'm doing this live on there. All right, if in 1985 you had $16,500, calculate $49,142. So write these numbers down because I won't remember them. $49,192. So if you made $16,500, that's equivalent to $49,192 today.
Okay.
And that is, also write this down for me. It's 189% difference.
Okay.
So it's 189% increase. Okay. If in 1985, what was the total? $259?
It was $2.85.
$2.85.
That was for one value meal.
Okay, $2.85. Calculate $8.50 is what it should cost. The Big Mac, that meal is way more than $8.50 now.
Oh, yeah. And what that audio said, it was $26.46.
But that's for two. So I think if you break them up,
But
you
still.
yeah. So food. My point of all this is
$17.
Food appears to have far outpaced
Inflation.
Mm-hmm. Which is when they talk about inflation, you can't just look at the total number because it's broken off into categories. And the major ones you've got to look at are things you have to have for a daily existence: food, housing, gas, electricity, utilities. All of these things are different inflations. They put them together and get an inflation rate. But the core inflation stuff is what you got to look at. And it is the price of stuff is, as we're showing you right here, outpacing what the increase in salaries have been.
So McDonald's says that the rising cost is because of their operational costs, which include labor, supply chain disruptions, and also you have to wonder, is it worth it at this point? Because let's be honest, it's not the best food out there.
Oh, well, okay, so I did this yesterday. I left, and I'm trying to figure out where to eat. And there were a couple I was like, I just don't want fast food today. I've got to do something better. And I'm looking at these places I was going to go, and then I look at the price of it, and it's like I've got some decent food at home. And I think about then in my head, do you do this where you know the price of food to the point where you basically know what it would cost you to eat at home?
Oh,
I
yeah.
pretty much can do that. And it's like $7, $8, $9 difference to go out and get a good meal at a sit-down place or whatever, where you're not going to get something made in a vat of grease,
right?
Versus what you can go at home. So I just went home, and it's like that's where we're at in society. Is you are thinking about the cost and the price of everything because everything is so expensive.
So McDonald's, of course, have been synonymous with being budget friendly, right? That's how they got away with maybe serving you less. It's like serviceable now. This food is serviceable. It's not delicious, except for the occasional cold Coke from McDonald's.
That's right.
But it's like it's convenience. That's what you're paying for. You're on the road. You need something quick. This is going to do.
Yeah.
May not be your choice, but it's...
And then it comes back to public health. Why do you think our public health is in such a poor state? Because we eat like garbage, and a big reason we eat like garbage, some of it's laziness, some of it's convenience, but a big portion of it, I will vouch yesterday. Now, I didn't eat like garbage when I came home. I had some decent things. It was not a filet mignon, but it was, lean meats. It's, better stuff than you'd get at a fast food place. Is the price. It's the cost of doing it, and people just can't. Like, I'm thinking about the difference, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but it's only one day. But it's like it's $7, $8 difference potentially. Well, if you extrapolate that over 365 days, think of how much money that is if you don't spend that each day.
Yeah, it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah, it is. All right.
We've got an update on the Bohachik.
Yeah.
Bohachik.
The thing I love about...
Everybody's pronouncing it differently.
Okay, so this is great. I've got a Bohachik story, by the way. And one of the things I love is how everyone's pronouncing his name differently. And that makes me laugh. And then I've got a Bohachik story about how I know how to pronounce his name when we come back.
All right, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
911, what's your emergency?
In an emergency, voice is best. But what if you can't call?
Escalated domestic disturbance reported east of downtown. Be advised, alert was received via 911 emergency text. Caller is hiding in a closet and can't use her voice.
When the situation is too dangerous to make a call, text to 911. Capability Now helps Hoosiers. But in most emergencies, voice is still best.
My sister's not breathing. Please hurry.
In the last 5 years, Hoosiers have used text capability in over 1 million 911 sessions. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations. Thanks to the statewide 911 board, Indiana leads the nation with all 92 counties having in- and outbound text capability. For more, visit in911.net.
It's good to hear your voice. Help is on the way.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
You were blessed to have a home large enough to raise a family. But now the kids have been on their own for a while, and the house seems a little different. All those rooms are a bit too much to manage. Simple just seems better. Simple Quarters is a company that understands, and they can help you trade in your house for one that's a better fit for this point in your life. A lot of folks don't realize you can trade in your house like you can trade in your car. Simple Quarters will buy your house and help you transition into a new one all at the same time. No double mortgages or months of showing and stress. They streamline the process. Or they'll simply buy your house as is, and you can take the next steps on your own. Simple Quarters is a Christian company committed to making your real estate transitions easier. If you're considering downsizing, Simple Quarters offers both as-is home purchases and a convenient home trade-in option. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text PACK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PACK to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Integrity, responsibility, humility.
Commitment, discipline, grit.
Leadership, resilience, dependability.
This is what it takes to be a high school student athlete. It's also what it takes to be a high school sports fan. Plus,
loyalty, sportsmanship, respect.
Support, encouragement, being a positive role model.
Buying a ticket, showing up, cheering loud and proud.
I'm Robert Falcons, Assistant Commissioner of the IHSAA, and these student athletes need your support in the stands.
I'm Sawyer Tittman from Fort Wayne Snyder High School.
I'm Allie Ward from Boonville High School.
I'm Owen Fouts from Yorktown High School. It means a lot when we have fans at our games to cheer us on.
It helps us dig even deeper and do our very best.
It takes all of us to represent our school and community with pride.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Be a champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is supporting your student athletes. This is showing up for your team. This is your IHSAA.
At Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling, our mission is to provide honest assessments and recommendations. We promise you'll never be sold something you don't need.
PricePointComfort.com. They are your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A fatal shooting of a woman in Indy. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. A woman is dead, a man injured following a shooting early this morning near Indy's north side.
And they discovered inside of an apartment an adult female and what we believe to be an adult male who both sustained injuries consistent with gunshot wounds.
IMPD Sergeant William Young says the incident was likely started through a domestic dispute. No arrests have been made. An Indiana state senator is facing charges of drunk driving. Michael Bohechek of LaPorte County was pulled over back in January and arrested after blowing a .283, more than 3 times the legal limit. Indianapolis City County Councilor Andy Nielsen is calling on Mayor Joe Hogsett to resign, saying he showed a lack of judgment in letting his former chief of staff, Thomas Cook, keep his role despite the allegations and investigation of sexual harassment against him. And the Fever are in action tonight, taking on the Washington Mystics at 7 from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, so we're gonna do what we do, which is we're gonna educate you on how your government works, and we're gonna make this mildly entertaining. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
So we got an update on this Mike Bohachik case.
Yeah.
Which, of course, he is the state senator. We broke the story yesterday that, we actually broke the story over the weekend, and then we came out and formally named the guy after he refused to come clean on yesterday. Allegedly had a blood alcohol content of 0.238, was able to hide this from the public for months because of this horrible law that prevents lawmakers from being held accountable during the legislative session or after, either way. And by the way, if the thing is you're worried about them being arrested and they can't vote, why do they get the 15 days?
Right, afterwards.
Like it's utterly It's
Yeah,
utterly
that
ridiculous.
doesn't actually match with the reasoning, does it?
Right, it's just completely, utterly ridiculous. It's so that they can hide from scrutiny, and that's exactly what it is. Anyway, one of the things before we get to this that I love is nobody can pronounce this guy's name the same. I've heard at least 10 different pronunciations. It's Bohacek is the spelling, and the reason. Now, my wife told me this because my wife was in college. She was a Senate intern at the. She's like, it's Bohacek, and so look, she's a world traveler and she knows how to pronounce things. So I said, well, I'm going with that.
Bohacek.
Yes,
she worked for him. She should know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. So
she worked near him.
Gabrielle's fault, and everybody's going with that now. I think on the news. So
it's
my fault, which it's her fault if that's wrong. The guy who got the DUI.
Yeah.
You know who we're talking about. All right. So what's
the
the
third
update?
judge now in the case has refused jurisdiction as well.
Okay, so this is important because one of the reasons I decided I had had enough and was going public with this was because we were way past the 15-day window of immunity after the session. I think the session ended April the 29th. So you're looking at May 14th, 15th, whatever, which is I think when the actual charge came down, right?
Right, it was May 15th.
May 15th. So, okay, that's a half a month or more now we're dealing with. And that's why I just had enough with this guy being able to hide in secrecy. But one of the reasons that it was unable to go forward was they already gone to a special prosecutor because the prosecutor has the right to ask for a special prosecutor. That's a very quick process. You'll usually see it with the prosecutor of a neighboring county saying, hey, will you take this case? I have some sort of conflict, potential, perceived, real, whatever, otherwise conflict of interest. So that went to Porter County from LaPorte County where the incident occurred.
So it was first assigned to Magistrate John Link, who recused himself.
These are judges. Okay.
Then the clerk chose LaPorte Superior Court Judge Richard Stalbrink, and he declined. And then the clerk chose LaPorte Circuit Court Judge Julian Havens, who has now also declined.
Okay, so if you've never been a part of the legal system, judges can recuse themselves. I also believe that you have the ability to strike one judge or ask. I think you can ask. The judges will usually do this if you request, hey, I would like another judge. A lot of times they will be willing to say one less thing for me to worry about.
Right.
You get they call it a strike, and then it gets appointed to someone else. Now, once you've stroked, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever tense it is, you then that's it. If you get another judge you don't like that one either, I think you're pretty much out. But now what was likely to happen, and I think this is what happened with Delphi, the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, not the national Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court can appoint a special judge.
Yeah.
So it looks like none of these judges, for obvious political reasons, they don't want the heat, the grief, the drama, and they don't want any perceived political bias one way or another. They're in the county, this guy's in. They said, we don't want it, so that is what's very likely to happen. State Supreme Court will appoint a special judge, but who knows how long that's going to take. And until it happens, you're not going to get a sign-off on, that's what they're waiting on. They're waiting on a judge to sign off on the arresting documents to be able to move forward with the case. And I was like, man, I'm not waiting another week, 2 weeks, whatever, while, we wait for them to get a judge.
It's interesting that you said these judges, they don't want to take the case for political reasons or they don't want the political heat. Why not? The guy had a blood alcohol content of 0.283%, 3 times Indiana's legal limit.
Well, do you want me to just guess? I mean, I don't know these people, but I'm assuming that, first of all, you don't want any perceived conflict of interest. And whether it's, hey, we're of the same party in the county, I've gone to political events with this person, I've been friends,
Oh, so protecting their own.
Right. So you would say to avoid that, you want to go to another judge. There's a good chance he's a senator. He's obviously got control over the funding of the court systems in this state. They're going to have had some interaction with him. So I don't have any problem with this. I just got tired of waiting because the guy's been able to hide for 4.5 months. I said, that's, enough of that. But then the other thing, even if there isn't a conflict of interest, it'll be a high media scrutiny case in the county in which you live. No matter what is handed down, people are going to say, well, it wasn't hard enough, or it was too hard, or whatever. So the judges just don't want to deal with it, and then it'll go to another county. And look, he's probably, depending on what else comes out in this, not going to see jail time. He's going to get some sort of probation. They may revoke his driving privileges. But, I mean, look at Lucas. He's skedoodled right back into the fray, and he
might get money to run again.
I mean, these people are unserious clowns. The bigger issue, and this is what everybody needs to ponder throughout the rest of the day, is you had a guy who was highly compromised making choices for 7 million people. And what I mean by that is clearly he didn't want this to come out based on the fact that he didn't say anything about it. He wanted it hidden. He wanted to operate in anonymity. And don't think for a second the leadership of this state didn't know what this guy did or accused of doing, whatever. And the fact then that if it came time for a hard vote, where do you think he was going?
Right.
Who do you think he was siding
Exactly where
with?
he was told.
You, us, the people of the state, because we're affected by what everybody else does, but especially the people of his district, had a highly compromised individual with no independence whatsoever this entire legislative session. Was he voting for them, or was he voting for Rod Bray?
Right. The part that really, it doesn't surprise me, but it's just gross, is that he was stopped at 3:30 on a Friday afternoon, blitzed out of his mind, food all over him, his eyes were bloodshot, all of this according to the affidavit.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was back in the Senate chamber on Monday taking votes and probably trying to keep it really cool so nobody knew.
Sure. But this is the thing, and then I've said this. Especially when I started digging into this in earnest, I had a source who was, I would call an ironclad A+ source, who gave me the thing originally in February, then gave it back to me with new people who were corroborating the allegations over the weekend. And then I went to multiple people in the State House who said, yeah, we heard the allegations, both workers and lawmakers that I talked to get this. So if rank and file lawmakers knew about it, don't tell me for a second Bray didn't know that was going on, or the rest of the Senate leadership. And so you had a totally compromised individual making choices for 7 million people who had no ability to be independent based on the fact he clearly did not want this to come out.
Well, Bray said that he's going to be monitoring the case as it goes forward.
Yeah.
And then he's going to consider any next steps.
And this is what these people do at the State House. They find your weakness and they leverage it against you. I watched them do it with the state auditor when I worked in the state auditor's office. I've seen them do it with Curtis Hill. I've seen them do it with people like Jim Lucas. To an extent, I think it's what happened with Micah. That when you compromise yourself, now Micah's vices were not other people's vices, but Micah's deal was he couldn't keep his mouth shut and he couldn't stay away from the grandiose the excess, which was that car. Look at how Micah has changed since the car story came out. Think about how the public, the way he presents himself, the way he handles things, to the point where a potential public corruption case could be, don't know, because we can't get information. That's our job to figure that out. Yeah, I mean, and so that's what I'm saying. These lawmakers, it's every one of them. Any person who's vulnerable, they will find the leadership, the decision makers, because lawmakers don't make decisions. The leadership makes the decisions. They will find what your vulnerable point is, and they will exploit it.
Yeah. So advice to any of these other lawmakers who maybe have done something and haven't come forward, go through the 3-step process.
Yeah.
Admit the mistake, apologize, change behavior.
Yeah, and the message to you guys, it's a new year and a new us, baby. And anytime we get this stuff, we are digging on it. We are going to find the stuff. Because you people down the street from us have stabbed 7 million people in the back over and over and over and over again. You have chosen yourself and your special interest over these people. You do not care at all about the betterment of the citizens. Now, I'm not saying every single one of them, but the people who are calling the shots have proven time and again that all they care about is the power and hanging on to the power, and they view the power as coming, one, through obedience from the rank and file, and the power that is bestowed upon them by the money that comes in from the donors and the lobbyists, and that's who they serve. And the fact that this guy was allowed to, trust me, if that had been, I'm picking a guy. I'm picking one of the handful who I know they don't have any strings over, Andrew Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Ireland, you'd have known Andrew Ireland had a DUI. You'd have known, or OWI, or whatever you would call it. You would have known Mike Young, you'd have known about it because those guys aren't controlled. There are a couple of the few independent voices out there left in the legislature. This guy, they clearly knew who he was, and they could control him, and so they let it slide, and now he's of no use to them because session's over. Now, he'll get reprimanded, and Bray will say he's very disappointed in him, and they'll say he's got a problem, and he'll probably go to some sort of rehab facility or something. He'll make a good public face about it, and then they'll let him come back, and as long as he's a good boy and gets in line, they'll just
status quo.
Give him money and let him keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned money. This guy is no longer the second richest man in the world. Do you know who is?
Am I guessing now or are we taking a break?
I'll let you reveal your answer coming up.
Very good.
It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show. Join us this Thursday from Caesars Sportsbook at Horseshoe Casino in Shelbyville. But this afternoon, we're talking crime, we're talking punishment, we're talking legal stuff. We'll talk at 3.
Have you ever checked your Social Security statement to see how much money you'll get in retirement? Guess what? This number could be a lot less or a lot more than the number on your statement. It's Hammer and Nigel, and you could discover how you could get every penny that's rightfully yours with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy here in Indy. We trust Bill, and you can too.
So if you have saved more than $200,000 but have not yet filed for Social Security, schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery. 317-648-5120. This free analysis takes the guesswork out of filing for your benefits, and most importantly, it could help you get every penny that's rightfully yours. Free analysis. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
High-quality fine jewelry doesn't have to come with a high price tag. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg is changing the game with prices up to 70% lower than what you'd find in those big-name jewelry stores or even those strip mall jewelry stores. They have brand-name watches, stunning fine jewelry, custom designs, all at unbeatable prices. You can browse their expanded selection in the cozy, charming setting of an 1888 farmhouse. Why would you want to pay more when you can get the best for less? Visit PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg today or find them online, pajewelers.jewelry. Their phone number, 317-456-4010.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough nose and throat evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Hello, my name is Nate Clancy. I'm with Labor's Local 120. I've been with Labor's Local 120 for over 40 years now.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community. Like helping the Soapbox Derby.
We painted the bridge. The Wilbershaw Bridge is an iconic bridge for the Soapbox Derby. It's been there forever. It was, needing work.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LiUNA steps up.
Members that went over there, we seen that it was needing work, power washed, done the painting, just anything that was needed, and it looks amazing now.
This is Chris Brickey, business manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Here at the local, I like volunteering in the community. Just every little bit helps. I really got a real joy in doing that.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LiUNA Local 120.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,000 off select compact tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Indianapolis to see the full line of Kubota or visit McAllisterKubota.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Grit, hard work, training, professionalism, and being ready at a moment's notice. That's what we stand for at Fire Dogs Junk Removal, because we were founded by firefighters. When it's time to clear out clutter, big or small, we've got you covered. From old furniture to hot tubs and even entire decks, our team handles it all. Call Fire Dogs Junk Removal today at 1-800-211-DOG or book online at firedogs.com. Fire Dogs Junk Removal, your local team ready to answer the call.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
They are a lot richer than you, Rob.
Boy, that's a big list of people.
Mm-hmm. Mark Zuckerberg is now the second richest person in the world. His net worth is $225 billion. He just surpassed Jeff Bezos.
Okay, so Musk is overwhelmingly number one, right?
Yeah, Musk still remains number one. His net worth is $370 billion.
Okay, so then the rest of these guys kind of ping pong back and forth.
Yeah, they do.
It's a little misleading. I mean, obviously these guys are stupid, rich, and wealthy beyond anyone's wildest dreams, but it's money on paper. Like Elon Musk could not. What's the Musk number? Does it say?
The Musk number, $370 billion.
Yeah, he couldn't capitalize on a fraction of that because
he lost $62 billion last year.
Yeah, lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the point. Like he couldn't, because of the way our Wall Street is structured, financial laws. He doesn't have access to $370 billion at any one time. Now he could easily be worth $10 billion, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out, but that's always it's a misleading number because unless you're a homeowner in Indiana, unrealized capitalized gains don't get taxed because they haven't been capitalized. So, here's the way I've always looked at wealth, and I thought about this from the time I was a very young person. If your happiness is defined by stuff, then you are doing life wrong. And I was a very my goal, and is my goal as a parent, is to provide for my wife and my family to the point where they don't want any of the necessities, right? Like food, cars, whatever. They can live a productive life. But if you want something beyond that, then you're going to go out and work for it because nothing should be handed to you. And I'm blessed in the sense of my job is my hobby. My job is my hobby. I have two hobbies in life: doing this and watching golf. Like that's what I enjoy, betting on sports, whatever. But it's nothing that requires money. I live a comfortable middle-class existence, and the joy I get coming in here with the independence to do what I do every single day without any strings attached over me whatsoever. I can live in the house a house that I grew up in, not the house that I grew up in, but a house I grew up in, my kid plays in the same yards I played in. She walks next door and I'm in the house that I grew up in. Like, I lived the life that I always wanted to live, but it's because I never wanted a life that revolved around stuff.
Yeah, you didn't think things were going to give you happiness.
I might eat better if I was richer, but I think I'd still live in the same house. I think I'd still live the same.
By eat better, do you mean better ingredients?
Yeah, like stuff that, didn't come in a wrapper.
Okay.
Well, I mean, would your life change all that much if you had a lot more money?
Probably not. I mean, I'm the same way. In fact, I've gotten rid of stuff over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want stuff. I want experiences.
But it's the desire to acquire more stuff that I think drives. It's a lot of the conversation we've had today, right?
Mm-hmm.
About a lot of these elected people. More stuff, more power, more money, more, all of this stuff. More. Versus just saying, you're blessed for the existence you have.
Mm-hmm.
Make the most of that world and be thankful for what you have. And value your integrity and your independence and your ability, because no person is perfect. And it's part of what we talked about today with Bohacek, which is, it's not that the guy has a problem. Lots of people have problems. It's not even that the guy made a mistake. A lot of people make mistakes and do things wrong, and they pay a price for that. It's not any of that. The judgment is around the entitlement and the betterment than everybody else, that you do not play by the rules of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is he has given himself that level of self-importance.
Well, it's the lack of ownership of your mistake.
Yeah. And so I think for a lot of these people, these super rich people, the accumulation of stuff, of perceived worth, all of that, I think becomes more valuable and more important than living a life that makes you happy and makes you feel productive.
Meta stock was up 9% last year. Is that from the data centers, you think? I
don't know. I don't know any of the technology. I barely know how to use a cellular telephone, Casey. I don't know how any of this technology stuff works. I don't know. Are more people using Facebook, Instagram?
Right. Their revenue was up 16% last year, which is why Zuckerberg is now
there you go.
Over Bezos. Thank you, Rob.
What a show today.
Thank you, Landon.
That was awesome. What a show.
Mm-hmm. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a